Hello, hello, beautiful people of the internet. Hello, Genghis the Silent, Roxen, it's me, Squigs, Viking Spy, Eagledub, Dodge Enjoyer, Master Maticus, thank you for the Prime sub, Not Delusional, and Slanderbot. Hello, hello. I'm still heartbroken. It's true. It's just the way it is. 113 miles per hour, hello, hello. Dark Paladin, welcome, welcome. Stoneshard is a game you've always wanted to play? Yeah, it's a really fun game. So this is going to be a much, much more chill. It's kind of it's a different style of game. But yeah, it's really good. It's a really fun game. And so I have not done like a proper playthrough on any of the 3 characters. So if you've got time in the poll, you've still got like, what, 30 seconds to pick what hipster build I'm going to run. Because, I'm still Slurgy. I don't do anything normal. And we will start of course we're doing permadeath because, it's who we are. And we're rocking and rolling. So yeah, the basic premise of this idea...
The caravan is gone. My leg is crippled.
We'll let Varen
Half
speak.
my men are dead, and the other half are deserters and traitors. The host be praised. At least I've got the Stoneshard. If I knew I had to deal with an entire cult of devil knows what, I'd think thrice before getting into the whole mess. I'm too old for an adventure like this.
Feel that.
If only I could have a good talk with Gwinnell right now. I'd ask him what the hell is going on. I've been doing this for 30 years, but I've never found myself in such a tough spot. I need to get back to Bryn. I'm not up to going there by myself, so that's why I sent for you. Do you remember how I helped you out back then? Well, time to return the favor. Damn, it's been so long. Tell me, what have you been up to?
And this is where you pick your character, which I think, Okay, there we go. All right, and it looks like the winner of the poll was Manshire, Two-Handed Sword. Let's do it. So yeah,
Is that so? Interesting. Anyway, enough pleasantries. It's time to get to work. So here's the deal. I can't walk to Bryn with my leg like this. So unless you plan to carry me, we need a cart. We need horses. We're in luck, though. While you were away, I had a talk with the village elder. We came to an agreement. We'll do a couple of tasks for them, and they'll give us a cart and 2 horses. Don't worry about the job. It's nothing special. I don't think you need my advice on how to deal with brigands or the undead. The elder will give you the details. You should go see him right away. No time to waste. I almost forgot. Here's a map of the area. You need it more than I do. You can also ask the innkeeper about local events.
Forgot he has more to say.
He is a talkative kind. I'm sure he'll answer any of your questions. Off you go then. Good luck.
Thanks, Varen. So the basic idea of this game is, I'll say thematically, very similar to Battle Brothers. Instead of leading a mercenary troop, you are a mercenary. You take contracts from, towns, things like that. Here, I'll go ahead and use this map. It's been a hot minute since I've played this. But there's a big world map. And we start in this little square here. It's a square grid made up of square grids. So the basic idea is that you run around, taking contracts, going into dungeons, fighting bad guys, coming back, getting your gold reward, buying some new gear. It's that kind of gameplay loop. So it's thematically very similar to Battle Brothers. I would say the gameplay is more like ARPG, like turn-based. So maybe just turn-based RPG. So yeah, the game has been in development for a really long time, and it's just really good. The Bean Seller, thank you for the sub. Also, good luck, Chaucer, with the bird stuck in your garage. So, will this be on YouTube? It will be. It will be The Bean Seller. It's just being saved to my live stream tab, though. So there's not going to be any editing of it. So if you look on YouTube, you'll have to click on the live whatever, but I'm going to leave the live stream VOD up, basically. So, all right, so if we're going to do Manshire as a two-handed sword, what is that going to look like? Well, first off, we got to learn two-handed swords and get ourselves a two-handed sword. So what we're going to do is we're going to make an adventure all the way to, oh no, I can't remember the name of the place. The other town. It's been a minute, but we can do it. We're just going to walk there and we're going to learn two-handed swords, like there. So, chat covers the menu. It does. Chat does cover the menu. Disaster. You know, I'll just take it off, I guess. That's fair. That's untenable. Yeah, no, I think no chat on screen is fine. It doesn't matter. The nice thing is, you know, for people watching the VODs or whatever. But whatever. This is more just for the live stream, right? So yeah, we're gonna need to go learn two-handed swords. Now, to get two-handed swords, we have to make our way to another town. So we're gonna walk our way there. And I'll probably also pick up some warfare, likely, you know, a bunch of utility skills, warfare, athletics, survival, things like that. And that'll be the plan. I really like, I'm kind of a survival stan. I'm a big fan of first aid. I kind of love it. And my favorite characters have all been like a whole bunch of vitality. Because I'm a vitality stan, which is weird. I don't think many people like to play this game that way. But I do, because I just like to have a big old pile of hit points because it makes me feel better. So, what I'm going to do to get started is we're going to go to this little guy here. We're going to get a two-handed axe just to start with, just to get us to the other town, because it's the best starting weapon, basically. We're going to put that on. The two-handed axe it gives you is this Deloire or whatever, which is actually like pretty good at getting you safely to the next town. And we're just going to walk there. 9 lives, Slurgy, let's having a big pile of hit points. No way. Right. So we're going to sell a bunch of stuff. We actually don't need a bedroll. We're not going to need this map of the outskirts anymore. And we don't need the traveling staff. One thing I am going to do though, let's see. I want to spend a little bit of money and get just like just a little bit of nice stuff to help us out. So we might get like, I might get a crowbar. Screw it. We'll just get one of those now. I'll need to make sure we've got 250 gold for learning a new skill. But we can get, we'll buy that belt. What's this game about? Yeah, so it's basically like conceptually very similar to Battle Brothers. Hey, you have a good one, Warkick. So yeah, we'll get those and actually go back there and maybe get some gloves. It'll make the journey safer. Yeah, so we'll grab some gloves. And then we're gonna need to grab some stuff on our way just to, actually what I might do, here's what we can do. Got an idea. We're gonna collect the, nah, screw it, we'll just go. You said you were going straight to Manshire. What's your strategy there? We're just going to go there to learn two-handed swords, and then we're coming right back to Osbrook. That's right, Manshire. I could not remember the name of it. Is this my first playthrough? No, I've played through this game, but it's been a while. So, it's one of your favorite games? Nice. Yeah, so one of the things we're going to do too is just to gain the experience on the way to make this a little bit smoother. We're going to do just the very basic of crafting things because you gain experience for it, but only your first time, right? So we gained, oh, maybe they changed it. Maybe I don't remember. Let's see. We can craft a brushwood bundle, which is like to make a campfire. You can make a splint from 2 sticks and a rag. What's the skill order you're thinking of grabbing for the first few levels? You know, this isn't all that well thought through. What I might do is while I'm traveling through the forest here, is just literally going right to first aid. Or, again, also to make the travel a little bit safer, I could just grab... oh no, I don't start out with warfare, do I? Well, that'll have to be picked up later. I was gonna say Warcry. Warcry is a really nice, like, level 1 skill. There's a little tech you can do for 250 EXP, break into the Drunken Woodsman and steal a pelt. Okay, and craft a bedroll. Is that the idea? The Axe of Jorgrim? I didn't know about this. I haven't like watched anyone else play this game, so I have no perspective of like what other people do. Literally no idea. Okay, let's do that, right? So to craft a bedroll, we just need straw and a rope. So here's straw. Is there rope somewhere? That's kind of fun if so. I mean, I guess I could get rope from the cart that's nearby, right? It should be the cart probably here. It always has rope, right? We'll just go there and get rope. Then we'll come back. Okay, rope in the cart. Ah, that's fun. Let's craft our splint first. Okay. So I'm definitely no expert at this game. This is not like Professor Slurgy with his Battle Brothers. This is just a game I've played some and I find fun. The Chaucer, I like your problem solving. Just let the cats get rid of the bird in the garage. Jamnuska, hello. Yeah, I can't wait for the Arcanist pitch to drop. Right. All right, so let's see. That's more of them than I think I'd like to see. We're gonna get some good terrain. It's been a minute since I think something like this ends up working out pretty well, right? As long as yeah, here they come. What a bunch of nerds. Yeah, so I'd like to get something in like Warcry. I think that'd make this nice and smooth, but that's all right. We'll start out with Cauterized Wounds and then get first aid, so I guess I'll just do Cauterized Wounds first. Okay, so we're gonna make it, let's see. Get this guy to go this way, perfect. Use one of these. Warcry's OP, yeah, it's really nice early. Ooh, and this guy's got the Golden Dog, so he's like a little bit dangerous, right? Okay. Kick is pretty strong early for most builds too. Interesting, Scrymaster. I don't actually usually bother with kick, so my previous successful builds, I've really liked the sudden lunge into no time to linger kind of route. I really think that the bottom of the athletics tree is like overpowered. Like it's stupidly strong. Like Adrenaline Rush is insane, especially if you max vitality. It's just insane. It's so good. It's so good. And then sprint training is really good because the sprint skills are good. And I think we're going to want that with the two-handed sword because it's got like a charge skill, right? Yeah. So we'll definitely do that eventually. And then peak performance is just like, here, do you want to be overpowered? You can. You're hearing mercenary skills on the level up and even the Golden Dog all sounds very familiar. Yeah. Yeah. Just, take the Battle Brothers concept and put it in a RPG package, basically. So we're going to go ahead and read the note for experience. I'm going to go ahead and use the Fleawort to free up the spots in my inventory. It's also like a heal, basically. And we'll grab these. And then we're gonna go craft a pelt. I love this idea. I forgot about the inventory management from this game though, which is a little annoying. Yeah, this is a new character. They added DLC characters, and I have not really played through them. So this guy, Manshire, his special is Lifelong Journey. So grants plus 0.33% experience gain and fatigue resistance for each location visited for the first time. So basically he like gains experience faster as you've visited more places. Activates Vigor upon visiting a location for the first time and grants 1 ability point for each 6 points invested into an ability tree. So it kind of encourages you to invest some into a variety of different trees, which is pretty cool design. I think that's where a lot of the, you know, I'm going to put my points. Survival's the easiest to get 6 points into first because the prereqs are pretty low. So I'll probably just do that for the free skill point, and then I'll branch into really digging into the two-handed swords. I think, anyway. Is that the picture of Slurgy when he had hair? Mahir's fatigue resistance is good for spellcasters. Sure. Makes sense. Okay, so to craft this, I like this idea. Let's try this. To craft a bedroll. So all I need to do is just grab a pelt, which I can probably get one from here, right? Probably can't pick it, right? Or is it in here somewhere? Lone wolf with retinue? Yeah, basically. Yep. Yeah, it is a really cool game. Sorry, the dogs are freaking out downstairs. So where is this pelt? And I think money is just like free to steal, actually. Because it, you know, it all looks the same as any other. Someone was saying I can steal a pelt, but I don't know where it is. Yeah, I know, the dogs are freaking out. There's a storm a-brewing. You need to pick the door from outside. Is it safe to pick that though? Right? Like, can I pick this and he won't, this guard won't see? Is that really a thing? It's safe. Okay. So we'll go ahead and grab one of these. And then we're just gonna have to craft it right away, I'm assuming. Sweet. That's a neat trick. That's a cool trick. I like that a lot. Okay. Boy, I have forgotten how to manage inventory though. Here, let's eat some food. Bedroll. There you go. This is your favorite game, followed closely by Battle Brothers, so discovering Slurgy like a week ago and then opening Twitch to see this was a surprise. Well, wonderful. Inventory full of bullshit? Well, yeah, thanks. I mean, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I mean, we'll you know, we'll play till whatever, till we die probably. And I can probably sell the golden dog. Can I sell it here? I don't remember. Sometimes a lot of the weapons you pick up, no, he won't buy it. A lot of the weapons you pick up, unlike Battle Brothers, they don't sell for very much because they're usually damaged. So it kind of prevents you from being too much of a loot goblin, which I think is a good thing. It's a good thing overall. Cauterize wounds first perk? Oh yeah, but hold up. We're gonna get ourselves some first aid. So I'm just gonna put a point into vitality. I love vitality. Love vitality. Love it. Love it. So we're gonna go ahead and put that there. And actually I have a weird quirky thing that I always do where I put butchering on the second tab. And I created a hotkey for it because I found that I often want to use more than 2 things. First dungeon wipe, it's real? No. No, we won't wipe in the first dungeon. I don't know if we'll end up needing make a halt. We probably won't. So I'm gonna end up putting points in other skills. How's our hunger and thirst? All right, we're doing all right. So yeah, we're gonna make our way to Manshire so we can learn two-handed swords. And then we'll start the build proper with our two-handed sword elf boy. Just the two-handed axe can get you through the first dungeon without any skills at all. I mean, yeah. Though it can, I feel like, unless you're reasonably lucky, it's pretty plausible to hit a room that's pretty dangerous. All right, I'm gonna keep that because I want to sell it. Like, you could pretty easily run into like a boss, right? All right, let's see. If this is just 2 of them, then I think we're good. Looks like it is. Oh, I didn't want them to separate. There we go. In a lot of the early fights, it's just about, like, I don't know, making the terrain such that you can never get surrounded. And as long as you can't get surrounded, then you're fine. We're gonna use the flea wort we found. Okay. We're gonna keep this train roll until Manshire. I love first aid. I think it's real good. It's like, you can also think of it as like an inventory mod if you squint your eyes. Because, you know, if you have first aid, then you don't have to, like, carry around as many healing salves or anything like that. Does it mean the Battle Brothers run is dead? No, actually. I am going to try another attempt. Cat's out of the bag. I probably shouldn't be at this angle against this guy. Yikes, okay. That was sketchy. So, anyway, yeah, what was I saying? Let's grab some leeches. When you were going to try again, not a secret? Right, I mean, I was talking about it in the Discord, right? But I'm going to... So, I think I've figured some stuff out. And dare I say something really cocky, but I feel like it's actually going to be easy. What was that I was drinking? Oh, just water. Just water. We got a water skin. Oh, unless you mean this. This is a Waterloo Raspberry Nectarine Sparkling Water. So one thing that I realized is that I dramatically misunderstood the sense of urgency that I needed. Oh, and these are new. There didn't used to be these. There's nests with eggs as a food source, just like in the forest. Anyway, yeah, so I dramatically overestimated how much money would be necessary in the late game, where I can play it dramatically safer and slower in the mid game. Talking about Battle Brothers here, and that'll be just fine. Leeches need to be nerfed to hell and back. They're way too overpowered for what they are. It is weird because they are, like, you know, just leeches. Let's see. And sometimes I feel like as Mahir, I wonder if it would be worthwhile for me to, like, try to go off the road on my way to Manshire and try to find, like, a place to get rested. I can stop by the oh, whatever that place is, wherever Varen did his little whoopsie. That's right, they're magic leeches. I suppose I can... Oh, whoops. I say I could pick up the swords to sell to the blacksmith too. Which actually, now that I think about it, I wonder if I'm gonna need to do that. I wonder if I'm not gonna have enough money to learn two-handed swords and get what I need. Now that I kind of think about it, maybe that's kind of necessary? How many foes have I fought that had swords? Not that many, right? So how many, I mean, I'm curious. It seems like a lot of people here. There's some serious Stoneshard knowledge here, which is kind of neat because I am not one of those people. But I am excited for the next class. Woo, that was close. All right, we got some pain going, but we got over it. Cool. All right, so what can I get? I think I can... We'll work on getting towards austerity. So I'm gonna do, yeah, my plan that this is like an old notepad that I'm basing this off, which is really funny. But I wrote, let's see. Mahir two-handed sword, hipster build. 6 points into two-handed swords, in parentheses charge. These notes don't mean that much to me anymore. 8 warfare, 9 athletics, 6 survival. And at the time when I wrote it, I had a plan for which skills those would be, and when I built it, I would just know what they were. Now, I'm pretty sure I know what the 9 athletics are. It's probably boom, 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 boom. All right, those I get. 8 warfare. I'm guessing I must have done offensive tactic, defensive tactic if I was going to pump vitality. And probably finisher. That's my guess. And then 6 two-handed swords must just be the only things required to get to heroic charge, which looks like more than 6 skills. So I'm not sure what I was thinking there, because obviously that's 8. Couldn't tell you. You reached endgame state with several builds. Yeah, I reached the endgame with a handful of builds, and they were all with max vitality. All the other builds I tried, it felt like they could just get an unlucky string of like not blocking or not dodging. But vitality goes hard. You just live longer. You just got more health. So I'm not even gonna pretend that I like know what I'm doing. We're just clicking stuff and having fun. Actually, 1 point of not this time is really good for early. And we are eventually going to get dash, so I'm just going to grab disengage now. Screw it. Let's see. And I'm going to stick to my plan of finding some of these swords from Briggies and getting our 150 crowns. Vitality can suck it. All your boys go full perception, crit for days. Nice. Glass Cannon is king in Stoneshard? Maybe so. I don't know. I'm not even going to pretend like I have an informed opinion here. I don't. And yeah, I don't think Stoneshard has had any updates like super recently, but you know, it's had some. Have I ever played Star Sector? I have not. I've not played Star Sector. Let's see. None of the other enemies I fought had swords, did they? That's kind of a shame. I need to play it? So what, it's just space mercs? So there's a game by a small indie company called, oh, let's see, hold up. What's it called? Star Valor, which I really enjoyed, which I would describe as like space RPG. And I really like Star Valor. The ships are modular and it's a huge 4X world. Interesting. Huh. Sounds cool. Yeah, I don't know. I'll check it out. I've got a tab open. I'll give it a look later. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of like my games to be like really brutal, like brutally difficult. That is honestly my overwhelming preference. So if there's no way to make it difficult, and also like the part of my brain that gets tickled by Battle Brothers and the part of my brain that's tickled by, a game like Stoneshard are actually quite different. I like to think of Battle Brothers a lot like how I think about Slay the Spire, where I like that sort of strategizing for short-term, mid-term, long-term goals. Whereas in this game, I'm just like, I want to make a cool build. I don't know. It's not exactly the same sort of situation. All right, so what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to try to find 3 cleavers to sell. Or not sell, but there's a quest reward in Osbrook from the blacksmith. And I'm going to need that so I can run to Manshire. Have I played Kenshi? No. What's weird is that, like, having looked at Kenshi, it looks hideous. Just straight up. But it must somehow have genuine, appeal. People like it, right? It's part of the charm. I mean, people say the same thing about Battle Brothers, but I think it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It grows on you like Battle Brothers? Interesting. All right, what I'm gonna do is sell stuff while it's daytime. Okay. And sometimes what I've done too is if I can only find 2 things. Oh, and actually I'm gonna sell the lockpicks because, like, who cares? I got a crowbar. Kenshi 2 will be great. Hope your grandkids enjoy it. I mean, I feel like that's how people feel about Stoneshard. That it'll be fully released, sometime in, the year 2050. You can steal a sword in the barracks too, but it only works in 2 specific tiles. Otherwise you get caught. Holy shit. The Axe of Jorgrim has some serious stealing tech. I just played like a goody 2-shoes and I was like, I don't know what is and isn't safe to steal, so I, in my playthroughs, have stolen nothing. Because I didn't want to get caught. I don't care that we're bleeding. That guy doesn't get away. Ooh, we had a flatbread. Is a free crate of wine in Manshire? Man, you guys are just a bunch of criminals. Criminals! Can't believe it. Can't believe it. When I leave some of it in the... I mean, we're just going to get the... I just want to get 1 more battle cleaver, and then I'm going to return it, and then we're going to run to Manshire, is my plan. What if you could recruit more guys in Stoneshard? No more bird for the Chaucer? Did the cats take care of business? Let's see, and how's our... okay. Wanted to make sure morale and sanity were good. You had to broom it, stupid cats. disaster. I had long ago I had bats that made their way to my basement through my attic, and it was a huge pain in the butt to figure out like where they were coming and how it happened. And so one nice thing about Manshire here is boom, camp discovered. We get vigor. How cute. How fun. And then we got our third sword there. Have I heard of Battle Brothers? Battle Brothers? No, tell me about Battle Brothers. What do we know about Battle Brothers? I'm curious. Alright, let's make ourselves a lentil soup. Something tasty. Keep the spirits high. Did something happen to the run? Yeah. Something did indeed happen to the run. Oops, I ate too much. The run is on hold for the time being. Yeah, so yeah. The run is on hold for the moment. Just for the moment. How's the game in the current state? I think it's really fun. I think this is just a really fun game. It's a very, like I said earlier, it's a very similar experience thematically to Battle Brothers, but it plays more like, you know, turn-based RPG. Is basically what's going on. And yeah, it is still in early access. I don't know if they'll ever change that classification. Or if they're just gonna, you know, keep it as is forever. Yeah, I mean, it's not completed for sure, but there's still a lot of content here. Like, there's a lot of game. Someone would lose their shit if you ever called the game a roguelike. That's what I hear. Alright, so we're gonna get some money from a boy, a blacksmith. It is a roguelike if you play it on permadeath. I feel like it pretty much is, yeah. Like, it ticks all the boxes. I don't know. To me, words have their most value when they communicate the thing they're communicating most clearly to the most people. So if that means using a word in a definition it didn't originally have, that's fine. Like, who cares? Get a little piece of jewelry here. Yeah, just because permadeath is exploitable doesn't, like, you could, that doesn't mean, I mean, you could, even if it wasn't exploitable, you could make backup copies of saves or whatever. Like, you play permadeath because you're playing permadeath, right? You're not doing it because it's a button you want to check. You want there to be consequences for your action. Otherwise, why did you click that button? Don't click that button. You don't have to play that way. But yeah, I think it's, I don't know. I would agree that I think the classification of roguelike is appropriate and acceptable. Interestingly enough, there are a lot of games, like, for example, Rogue Legacy, that have rogue in their name that I think it's weird to call them a roguelike, because they have all that, like, meta progression and stuff like that, which, I don't know, to me that's... I don't know. I don't like that. So that's just my opinion. Have I tried Caves of Cud? No, I haven't yet. I've seen it. It's on my wish list, and I think it went on sale recently. And I thought about getting it. I was this close to getting it. I was so close to getting it. And then I decided not to. I'm gonna get a room at the inn. Just for a day here. So we've got our vigor, so we're well rested for our journey. Medic progression makes it a rogue light. Yeah. But that, I mean, I think that's probably correct, but I feel like I'm already like confused. I don't know. New gen gamers love their progression and upgrades. Yeah. Do the runs affect your future runs? No. So if you were to die in this game, unless one of the veterans here wants to correct me, as far as I know, literally, if you start a new run, there's no impact from your previous run whatsoever. I kind of liked the way they did it for, Subset Games. What was their game called? Not Faster Than Light. The one they did after Faster Than Light. Why can I not think of the name of that game? It's got like cute little robots. Oh. Anyway, in that game, Into the Breach. All right, thank you. Like 5,000 of you all at once. I appreciate that. Yeah, so Into the Breach. In that game, it had just the right amount of like, you get to keep one pilot from your previous attempt. Which I thought was a fun, like, it was a good way of doing it, where you get to keep just a little benefit, but nothing too substantial. I guess it's not so different from Slay the Spire, where as long as you reach the first act boss, you get more complete set of Niao rewards. Yeah, like the Slay the Spire start bonus. Yeah, exactly, Rail Tracer. But yeah, I was thinking, you know, obviously I've been, you know, talking with some people in the Discord and been musing and thinking about the next true run. And I'm gonna rebrand the run. Just wait, it's still percolating. And again, you know, I was saying earlier, I dramatically misunderstood the rate at which the game would scale. And so I think with my new approach that I'm going to give it, I shouldn't have any problems whatsoever. That's what I think is going to happen. Yeah, I've seen Dwarf Fortress. I actually, there was a guy I knew in college, which I'm old now, so this is a long time ago, who played like one of the very, very, very earliest builds of Dwarf Fortress. It was, you know, I don't know, this would have been the year 2007, I think. And I remember thinking, what a fascinating game just to exist. And just the, you know, the developers, their whole story, their everything just seems, it's endearing. I like it. Ooh. Okay, glad that guy's attack missed. That was kind of bad, actually. Oh, to the point where the new graphics don't work on your brain anymore? Yeah. Because it is just purely graphical, right? When they worked with Kitfox Games or whatever. You love you some Stoneshard? Well, lovely, Mana. We're here with some Stoneshard. Let's see. I need a probably slightly better terrain because I'm a little bit low on hit points. Maybe through here? Yeah, this might work. Did I read the story of boat murdered? I don't know what you're even saying. So I guess not. Let's see. I'm going to be getting some hunger here soon. So I can snack on mushrooms along the road, but oh, okay. We definitely want to avoid wolves. Wolves would be basically instant death for us. So, chaotic wolf girl Livy, hello, hello. Is it hard to get used to playing this game? No, it's not too bad to pick up. Let's see. Let's lure these guys through here, where my back's not up against a wall. Even though I do have not this time. Avoid wolves. They're dangerous. The wolves are dangerous. And I wonder if I can actually cook. I wonder if I can fry eggs with a like homemade campfire. I'm curious. I actually don't know if that works. Let's try it. Oh, you can! Cool. How convenient. Alright, I think I saw... Did I see some dudes here? I did. Okay, here we go. Peasants with pitchforks. A classic. This is not a typical start to the game loop, by the way. For people who are watching this for the first time, normally you would get your first contract in Osbrook and like enter a little dungeon. We're just deviating from that. So that I can, you know, do my hipster build. Oh yeah, when they move and I didn't, I'm pressing spacebar. So I'm just passing my turn. Am I playing as a spear bro? Nah. I let people choose. Actually, I've never done a spear build in this game. Not to any... Oh no. Ruh-roh. All right, we're gonna have to maybe run these guys much further than I'd like. Well, that's too bad. Basically, what's going on is I'm hurt. I'm hurt right now. So I probably can't safely fight both of them. So I'm gonna lure them. Basically, I'm luring them to the local noble army so that they can help me deal with them. Oh, looks like I got some separation. All right, we're good. There's some, I'm sure people here probably know the answer to this. There's some distance where the briggies won't follow you through, maybe like six or so squares. And then you're safe. 6+ tiles, all right. Got it in one. I kind of guessed. 6 just felt about correct. 6 tiles, okay, all right. More like peasant militia. Exactly. Are there lots of builds to play in this game? Definitely. So there's lots of different builds you can do. You can choose like different primary stats to specialize in, which have pretty big implications on how you want to layer and build your defenses and offenses. And then there's a bunch of skill trees with different like weapon specializations. I feel like most builds you'd probably just pick 1 or 0, but probably 1. And then utility skills, which I kind of feel like they need to make more utility skills. Utility skills are like going to be a part of most every build, except for maybe pure mages or something. I don't know. And then, you know, sorcery. There's like magic. And you can build hybrids, and hybrids are like fun and actually pretty strong. Are we having a run 29? So there will be another Battle Brothers run of the same challenge rules, but it won't be run 29. Oh no. It will be run number 1 of the no entering towns, all legendary locations, no loss win streak. So it'll be run number 1, actually, with a streak of 0. Now, we might stop our streak at 1 and call it good, but it's the start of our win streak. You heard it here first. Mark my words, it's the start of the win streak. Oh, I got a boar's attention. I didn't want that. All right, so the boars and the briggies are going to fight each other. The boar will win. Just call it season 1? No. It's just run number 1 of the win streak. All right, we're gonna make a wide berth because he might still be aggroed. If you run into a boar early in a run where you don't have any movement skills, you're just straight up dead. What are the boars in this game eating? They eat on the flesh of the briggies. The wildlife in this game is super dangerous. So like boars, wolves, they'll kill you. They'll kill you real fast and they'll kill you real good. Bears, you know, etc. All right, so let's go north and go to this, I forget the name of the place, but it's the location from the tutorial. Just like Boars IRL? Maybe. Yeah, and I think there's always a necklace here. We can check the corpses too. Got some stuff we can sell. Let's see, where's the entrance? Here it is. Yeah, local boar population's very spooky. Yeah, there's a necklace here. Which, I think that's like what, miracle chance? So it doesn't do anything for our build. Assuming the enchantments aren't relevant to us, we'll probably just sell it. But it's money. At least here in Sweden, boars are seen as sort of a pest and need to have their populations controlled. That's crazy. Because I grew up in Iowa, in the US, and there are way more pigs than people. I think it's the #1 pork producing, like, per capita place in the world. So there's definitely not any wild boars, but there's a lot of pigs. It used to be a pretty good unique necklace. Oh, really? Interesting. Same here in Italy, you're reintroducing wolves? That's crazy. Huh. I mean, hunting wild boar used to be like a thing in Europe, right? Like that was just a thing that the nobility did. Unless that's all just like, I don't know, something you read about. I have no context for what the royal people in Europe are doing. Oh, and that's a moose. Mooses be dangerous. We want nothing to do with the moose. All right, so I don't want to run too far because I don't want to accidentally run into that moose. So we'll just go to like here. Actually, let's go through here. So are there actually like, I don't know that there's really much for wild wolves in the US at all anymore. I don't know. I'm surprised that there are any in Europe. I would think you'd have the population density where that wouldn't be a thing. But obviously Europe's like, you know, a vast place. I'm not going to say a big place because it's a lot smaller than the US. Let's see, I wonder if I just grab austerity. Whatever, screw it. I like austerity. I like the increase in sanity and morale from vigor, just to make the early game smooth when you're entering your first like dungeons where they can damage your mental stats. Wolves just returned to the Netherlands and it's a huge problem. People being attacked, farmers losing livestock. Wow, that's crazy. You know, it also, like, the funny thing that obviously is untrue, but when I think of Europe, I don't think of livestock or farms, like, at all. Which is stupid. I mean. But maybe when people think of the US, they don't think of that either, but we make so much food here. But maybe that's just because I'm from the region that makes all the food, right? I don't know. So many farms in Germany? I mean, yeah. Another ambush. Ooh, 2 of these sword boys. I feel like of the early like thugs or whatever, the 2-handed sword is the spooky one. Denmark has 3 times as many pigs as people. Interesting. I also think of Denmark as just being so small. Again, it's just the perspective of like living somewhere where stuff's big. 2-handed mace can be spooky early on. Yeah, especially when you're backed up into a wall. That's true. Ooh, okay. That's like one of the T2 enemies, right? I don't want to fight that guy. But we're getting close to our destination. Kingdom of Denmark includes Greenland? Okay, fair enough. How's our pain? Just 7%? Okay. But we need some food. So we're getting close to Manshire. We're almost there. Just making a pit stop. I don't know if this is something that like anyone else ever does. Like booking it to Manshire, or if I'm just being weird. But the one thing that's nice about this game is unlike, you know, Path of Exile or other RPGs where you have like an early game build and then you have a late game build. I kind of hate that, if we're being honest. Anyway, I like to more or less have my playstyle intact as I progress, and Stoneshard's good at that. The Netherlands is 0.4% of Europe's land total area and is 70% of the food export as the entire US. There's no way that's correct. There's simply no way that's correct. Having traveled throughout the world and seen my Iowa farm pork like all over Asia, there's simply no way that's true. There's got to be something, or I'm misunderstanding the stat. maybe per unit land area of the Netherlands compared to per unit land area of the entire US, I could see a stat like that being right. He's talking money-wise, not amount-wise. Okay. And that's got to be proportional, right? There's no way. Like the US exports so much food. And imports. I mean, I don't know. Okay, so we're here to learn two-handed swords, which I think we learned from the guy upstairs, up here. Okay, can you teach me something? Yeah, two-handed swords. Oh, and I can also learn warfare from him? Oh no, can I? Oh, there's no way I'm gonna get 250. That's crazy that the Netherlands would export that much food. I suppose, huh. Yeah, I don't know. That's wild to me. Though I suppose, you know, the US obviously consumes most of the food it produces. But even still, wow. That's wild. Let's see, pain resistance, bleed resistance. I guess we'll... Ooh, can I get to 250? Oh, I'm like so close. We can get there. Perfect. All right, let's learn warfare too, and then we'll head back to Osbrook. I think that stat includes bought and retraded goods. Yeah, I wonder if it does. Okay, can you teach me something? Let's learn warfare. Hell yeah. Great. So we got two-handed swords, we got warfare. We're ready to rock and roll. Oops, sorry, just bumped my microphone. All right, so now we're gonna head back to Osbrook. And from there, let's see, how's our fatigue? Fatigue's fine, hunger is high. We'll just have to get snacks along the way. If we were fatigued, doesn't time fix fatigue? Yeah. How much of the US export is to outside of North and South America? Probably not that much. Probably most of our exports are just to our... I mean, I think most US exports, just in general, not even agriculture, are just to Canada and Mexico. Yeah, I know, because like where I grew up, you know, I grew up in Iowa, which is just a lot of farmland. And it's insane, just the sheer, like the whole state, basically, outside of just the little pockets of urban areas, which are not even that urban. It's just cornfields. It's everywhere is a cornfield or soybean. And that's primarily used to feed livestock, which, you know, is the primary export of the whole state. It's wild. Like if you drive through the state, like if you were to go on Google Maps and you were to just like put a pin in a random spot in Iowa and then look around you, it's cornfields. And I don't know, you know, how that compares to the size of like a whole country in Europe, but a state in the US is probably pretty similar size. Oh yeah, good old I-80. Yep. I'm gonna avoid this fight because I don't want to fight that spooky briggy. But yeah, that's true, Rufin. Like moving goods from one European country to another is considered an export. moving goods from one US state to another is not. So it does, yeah, that does kind of change the meaning of those numbers. I-80 is scary? Why is I-80 scary? Is there something about I-80 I need to know? Because I've traveled it an awful lot. Yeah, Sweden is the size of California or so. Yeah, that sounds about right. Alright, so my little boy's getting hungry. I could eat these leeks, but I'd like to make a lentil soup. Maybe I just eat the leeks. I think I can eat rhubarb for food too, right? Yeah, a little bit. I-80 in California is a mess. Doesn't it go to, it goes to LA, right? Let's see, and I can get the supplies for the herbalist quests too. I think I've got them. I'm gonna see if I can figure out what this question mark is as we pass through. Since Mahir will gain a permanent buff from it. But we are going to avoid that boar. He is mad. Iowa's the same size as Iceland. It's larger than places like Hungary, Greece, England. 3 times the size of the Netherlands. There we go. Yeah, I mean, I-80 goes right through Iowa. I grew up literally right next to I-80, so I know about I-80 very well. Too well. Okay. This is too many enemies. We're doing some weird stuff here. Alright, so let's make a little choke point here. You lived in both California and Iowa, so you've driven for days on 80? Oh no, I wouldn't wish that on anyone. I've never made the trek from Iowa to California. And I never will. Oh, that sounds terrible. You slept in your car and drove through Iowa for a little under a month. It's the ugliest place you've experienced. Yeah, that's fair. It's not exactly a beautiful scenic place. It really isn't. Oh, it's right. I was gonna make my lentil soup. They've got a cooking pot, right? Yeah. Oh, we don't have any vegetables. That's all right, I'll fry some eggs. You'll be moving to Iowa in the next month or two? Nice. Yeah, it may not be a beautiful place, but I mean, it's got its charm. There are things I like about it. I never want to live there again, but there are things I liked about it and still like about it. You said it wasn't the ugliest place. Oh. That's true, Grandmaster Crashed. You did say that. Though, I would argue that it's not that. I mean, I don't know. It's not exactly scenic. You're from northern Wyoming now. Plenty beautiful, but not where you want to be. Fair enough. My only experience with Wyoming was not a very positive one, but it's not really Wyoming's fault. I went through there for the eclipse like 6 or 7 years ago, and I was in this little town called Glendo, Little Glendo, and there were so many people, mostly from Colorado, who came up to Glendo to see the eclipse. And Glendo, bless their little hearts, they were not ready for the traffic. And it was a absolute disaster. It'd be cool to visit the US one day. Yeah, I've thought the same about visiting Europe. Someday, maybe in the fall. I've never been, but my wife and I have been talking about doing it as like our late honeymoon, because we didn't get the opportunity to take like a proper honeymoon after we got married, which is like over a year ago now. Nebraska has one big city and literally nothing else. Iowa has some more interesting small towns at least. Someone's never been to Dodge, Nebraska. Don't say Europe is 27 nations. I mean, to be fair, people say the same thing like, I want to visit the US. And like, what does that mean? Saying visiting Europe is not really a thing? Okay, Europeans say that, but Europeans will say visiting the US with a straight face, as though that's a thing. It means a 50-state road trip? All right, then I'm going on a 27-country road trip. Easy. No, the specific trip we're planning on doing is probably going to be southern coast of France into Italy. So from like Marseille or Nice down along the coast to kind of west coast of Italy into Rome. That's what we're thinking of doing. Something like that. That's where you live? Nice. Pictures make it look like that's real beautiful there. To be fair, the cultural differences between the various European countries is vastly different than the cultural differences between different US states. Although I think you're probably almost certainly correct, Rufin, I think you might be shocked at how out of place I would feel and could never live in, for example, Alabama, like Birmingham, or different places. You know, I don't know, pick whatever cultural enclave. I think there's more differences than you probably think there are. But I can at least speak the language, though. Even that can get dicey. I mean, I don't know. It's true that it's less extreme of a difference. That's true. I mean, you say we all speak English. There are lots and lots and lots of Spanish speakers in the US. So like, though most of the Spanish speakers tend to be bilingual. At least, like, maybe not most. I don't know. A lot. You're bilingual? Yeah, there we go. This game looks cute. This game is very cute. We're actually going to start, like, the proper game loop here soon. Yeah, some areas have a lot of East Asian natives that don't speak English either. Yeah, for sure. Nice to see my audience is following another game. Yeah, I didn't even look. Oh, wow. Yeah, there are people here. Lovely. Yeah, I'm glad people are still just here to chill, to hang out. I like seeing that too. I didn't even put the stats up. I just had my stream info. Yeah, I saw that tattoo, 25. I saw that. Is it roguelike? It is. Depending on your definition of roguelike. Okay, so what I'm going to do, it's nighttime, so I'm going to take a nap at the inn. We're going to get a good rest in. Oh, hey. This is our buddy, our pal Bran. Anyway, we're going to stay the night at the inn, and then we're going to get the first contract. And start the proper game loop. What's the thoughts on the next homeless run? Your last few attempts died from taking 10 minutes to play game. I saw. Sins, I loved, and I know I ribbed you for it, but that fight where you circled around that whole forest path and did 36 rounds of combat because of the way the terrain was. Don't get me wrong, I would do the exact same thing. So this isn't a critique, but damn, I love that shit. I love it. It's so beautifully boring. I don't know. It was delightful to see. Yeah, and what's funny is even once you had circled around, then you realized, oh, he's shield walling. Now we have to wait 5 more rounds of combat for him to build fatigue, 5 at a time, right? Because he regains 15 and uses 20 until he gets stammed out so that he has to do his recover, and that's when you go in. It was the right call, but I don't know. Did I finish the run? Yeah. All right, so here is the town elder here in Stoneshard, where we're going to have our list of contracts. So we're going to select our 1 skull contract. It has a similar idea as skull ratings in contracts in Battle Brothers, with the big exception of like 1 skull contracts are like your early game contracts. 2 skulls are mid game. 3 skulls are 1 and 2 are early. 3 is like mid, and then 4 and 5 are later. I think 5 is where it caps out, unless that changed. I don't remember. But they just get increasingly more difficult, but you get more rewards, and I don't know. Anyway, so we're going to do this first contract. It'll be to fight some briggies. We get them marked on our map at Fort at the Outskirts. So that's where we'll go. And so, let's see. I think we've got the things I need to tell this nerd here we completed his contract. Perfect. So we get a couple healing salves. Those will help us stay topped off alongside first aid. And basically the first dungeon, and actually kind of true in general, as long as you move relatively slowly and carefully through the dungeons and stay topped off, you should be safe. It's pretty easy to lose sight of that. Oh, wow, that's expensive to repair. Good Lord. We're going to replace all this with like basic chainmail relatively soon. So, do contracts scale like in Battle Brothers, or does the difficulty depend on the location you get them from? Contracts do scale based on your level. I'm sure there's someone who could give a better answer to this than me. But they don't scale too crazy. And they are based on location. Like Osbrook will offer higher level contracts later in the game, but not as high as... Oh, what button is it? Like Denbury, for example, right? So demanding spear, you know, I've never done a spear build in this game, which maybe that's tragedy, but I haven't. Oh, and I'm gonna see if I can, I was gonna see if I could buy a backpack. Each location's dungeons can only go up to a certain level. Osbrook can only go up to 2, Manshire 3. Really? I'm almost certain Osbrook's can go up to 3. Unless that changed. I thought I remembered that Osbrook could have 3 skulls. And they go up to 5, right? Oh, and I can return this guy's plane. So let's see. There's a way I want to do this to get the most money. I think give him his plane. He gives me a reward. And then I do his thing of not fond about the elder, and I can clear out the brewery and then bribe the guy, but only if I get the story from this guy first. Something like that. So let's see. I take it you're not fond of the elder, but what happened? Blah, blah, blah. Interesting. But I can say, like, oh, there's got to be... Maybe it's when he gives you the thing. And you say, like, hey, about Dwar. And then you say, didn't I give you your plane? I don't remember how this works. Oh, well. It doesn't make that much difference in the end anyway. Perception Spear was the only reason Cal managed to beat a tier 5 dungeon with a melee build. Oh, all the builds that I've done so far have cleared the tier 5s pretty nicely. They were all vitality builds. And I insist that Adrenaline Rush is just broken as shit. This shit's so good. It's so good. Everything it does is good. It's just a whole list of good stuff that it does. And this duration that it lasts is based on your vitality. So vitality's like a smooth sail. That's probably not like a correct way of playing the game, but that's what I've done in the past and I really enjoyed. It unlocks after getting the quest? Okay. Let's see, how am I doing thirst and hunger? I'm doing like okay. Get back here, you nerd. Sweet. So yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find either some more lentils or leeks. I can make a lentil soup. Picking up some hemp is a good idea too. There'll probably be some enemies in the first dungeon that are gonna hit us enough to make us feel pain. And hemp helps with the pain. Hashtag 420 blaze it. You like Battle Brothers and Stoneshard? Now you're a quality gamer? I'm glad I could pass the test. I might be able to get food to make a lentil soup from finding the key here. So let's do that. Let's find our key. There will be a shed key somewhere hidden in one of these fields. There it is. And I'd be curious, is that in a set, like set locations? I know it's not always the same spot, but is that in like a known list of common locations, or is that only like spawns in like specific places? There's a few predetermined. That's what I would have guessed. Okay, that makes sense. One of like 4 to 6, okay. So do you ever play The Long Dark? You feel like I'd enjoy that too? No, I've heard of that one. First person survival. Interesting. I tend to have difficulties with first person games unless they've got like a really good map system. I'll go so far as to say I almost can't play first person games. I immediately get lost. Because I have basically no sense of direction whatsoever, because I have no ability to spatial reasoning visualize in the same way other people can. So I just basically don't play first person games. And The Long Dark is not for you? Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I was wondering. Which, if you're curious if that happens to me in real life too, it does. And has ever since I was like a tiny child. Which is why I use my GPS to go literally everywhere. Getting lost is totally normal. Oh, if getting lost is totally normal in the long dark, then if that's true for anyone, like a normal person, then I just can't play that game. Were you an early adapter to GPS and had a Garmin? Not a super early adapter because I grew up really poor, but when I first got my license, I was just straight up self-imposed, not allowed to drive anywhere except for specific routes. And if I tried to drive somewhere I didn't know where I was and my printed out MapQuest directions failed, I had to call my dad. And these are printed out MapQuest directions for the city that I live in and had lived in for a long time. So yeah. So I learned later in life it was just some random Reddit thread where people were talking about having aphantasia. And when they learned that when people would say things like, oh, I could see myself, blah, 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 they meant it literally instead of that being a figure of speech. And then, people were describing how, what powers of visualization they have. And I realized, oh shit, my brain works very different from other people's. And I always kind of knew that. But anyway, I think that's pretty common for people with aphantasia, is just total garbage sense of direction. Yeah, and what's crazy, Sunflower Gaming is your description of like your uncle having a photogenic memory, and he gave you turn-by-turn directions by memory from every major city in the US. That's basically also my dad. So if I got lost, I would just call my dad. And I would just say what intersection I was at. And at some random town, like nearby town, right? So if I got lost in Des Moines, I would just tell him where I was, and he knew how to navigate me home. He'd be like, all right, look down the road and you'll probably see an Olive Garden. Don't be confused. Like, that's not an on-ramp, blah, blah, blah. And like, give me perfect directions. As another A-fan, you have a decent sense of direction? Really, Dark Paladin? That's wild to me. Huh. I can't make sense of that, but... Oh no, your dad is me? You recognize landmarks? I mean, that's how I have to do it too, is purely by landmarks. Also, it's so nice to start with first aid, because I'm just using that after every little combat. Yeah, growing up pre-MapQuest probably helped people learn how to navigate. I mean, I grew up pre-MapQuest, but like, I just knew I was going to get lost. Combat looks a bit one-dimensional. It does start out that way. I literally don't have any combat skills yet, so that's why. It actually gets really interesting once you've got a bunch of skills. It's pretty different from a lot of action RPGs where you like spam one button or one skill. Since there's a lot of skills that all have long cooldowns, you'll learn to, chain them together in ways that are really interesting. So all the combat that I have shown has been really one-dimensional, but it's not all like that. Yeah, and there's definitely tricks and stuff. One of the things, I'm really happy to see these caltrops. I'm probably going to use those against the boss of the dungeon. Okay, so we're in our first dungeon, Fort of the Outskirts. These dungeons are all, you know, pretty small at the beginning. They get much bigger later. And so our specific objective is to kill the gang's leader. And we have 3 days to do it. So if we were to get really hurt, we can always like leave, go to town, have a nice meal, get some rest, and come back. But we should be able to do it in 1 day. And so throughout the dungeon, I'm going to be constantly doing examine surroundings. And so I'm going to be pressing the button 1, looking for traps like that, which the enemy is smart enough to not walk into. It's like they know about them. Hello, furious sheep. And I can also use my crowbar to disarm them with no risk of failure and get a pretty nice little boost of experience. So, pretty happy with that. I've got the crowbars in my alternative weapon slot just to save space. Where I will probably just keep 2 crowbars for the rest of this campaign. Oh my goodness. There's a man here. I feel like usually there's music that plays. It's like a little quiet, right? I guess it's playing. Alright, how's our pain? Yeah, pain's a little high. Let's have a glug of beer. You can drink some beer to eliminate pain. Like Run 28, you know? Some things just make us feel that way. Are we doing Iron Man from the beginning like Battle Brothers? Yeah, I started with permadeath. That's just how I like to play every game. For me, if there aren't consequences for mistakes, then the gameplay doesn't feel like it matters. I would rather play on an easier difficulty, which is also fine, and I don't always, like for example, in XCOM, I played on whatever setting I had that on. But I'd still rather do that and leave permadeath on. I hope the bug where enemies can run at 100x speed and murk you got fixed by now. I've never experienced that, so it must be. I wonder how close I am to Pathfinder. Level 6? Okay. Let's see, let's get this guy around a corner. I feel like two-handed axe mark. It's the spookiest one. Uh-oh, hope I don't aggro both at once. I did. Damn it. Let's try to reset the dungeon. 4 enemies is going to be too many. Pathfinder's good in this game too? Yeah, Pathfinder's really good in this game. What's really nice about Pathfinder is as you're moving through a dungeon, you can hear enemies and see their question marks. It helps you plan your whole path. Am I becoming a cat person now? No, I was just watching a friend's cat. All right, so what I'm gonna do is just stay near the exit. It looks like it's 2 archers. So, how close is this guy to death? 34? Woo, okay. Stupid archers. Get over here. Okay, I feel like I'm a little bit low, where I don't even want to fight the archer in melee. Show cat? The picture of cat in the Discord. I'm not, the cat is not here. The cat is still at his house. Okay. And, oh yeah, so, and then with stats, there's always like a thing you get with each 1 point, and then there's something you get at intervals of 5. And so the next interval for vitality gets plus 15 max health. Hell yeah, you love to see it. So I'm going to be beelining to 15 vitality. I don't know what my secondary stat will be for two-handed sword build. I suppose probably strength. I can probably get an active now if I wanted it. I could get Warcry, which is like always good, but let's... I think since I'm not going to need to bother with Make a Halt, and I'm going to get to 6 points in survival soon-ish, let's get something in two-handed swords. You were trying to fall asleep, but you couldn't help but keep wondering, what would be an excellent map system in a 3D game? It's very hard to imagine not being able to imagine and using that for navigation, so understanding that perspective you feel could help with making accessible UI systems. So at least for me, so Valheim, I can play pretty well. One of the most important things for me is a simple button that doesn't otherwise interrupt combat or anything like that, where I can pull up the map, see my heading and orientation, and also relevant landmarks, and then immediately make it go away. And then I just know, okay, I'm pointed in the right direction, whatever, I'll just keep going. So that's the most important thing from an accessibility standpoint, I think, for people like me. Like, I watched some people play, like, so for example, like, there was a whole diatribe from some YouTuber that I really like about wishing that games didn't have like waypoints or navigation things in games that are in first person or third person perspective. And like, I understand his perspective that it ruins immersion, but I just can't play games that don't have that. Just literally can't play them. A transparent overlay, transparent works. Yeah, transparency is good. But even if it's like, I can pull it up then make it go away, that works too. Valheim's is good, actually. And being able to interact with it in intuitive ways, zooming in and out, etc. And yeah, Squigs is right. If I were to bring the cat here, Leroy would be very unhappy. Would a map without built-in navigation but with user-level annotations be a working compromise? Maybe. What about Legends of Grimrock 2's map? I've never played it. So let's see. What would be a good skill to start with? What's the best skill to start with? Oh, I don't even have a two-handed sword yet. Why am I even looking at these? I'm gonna wait till we get the ability to buy a tier 2 two-handed sword. So why don't I just get Warcry? Warcry is really good. Warcry is just really nice. You ever watch Rainbolt videos? He's a GeoGuessr expert who can look at virtually any Google Maps Street View photo and know where it was. No, I've not seen that. Though I've seen people playing GeoGuessr. Actually, GeoGuessr is kind of a fun game. Because a lot of that is like looking for... Oh, see, I should have used Warcry. Should have used it before he got into melee with me. But a lot of GeoGuessr is like looking for either flags or the language of a sign or things like that, you know? Hey, yeah. I mean, feel free to ask. If you have specifics, like questions, Mana, I'd be happy to help. Because, you know, I think accessibility in games is important. Actually, I was thinking about that earlier, actually, when I created my Battle Brawl submission spreadsheet, and I realized I'm using the colors red and green. Should I not be doing that? Because I know there's a lot of people who are red-green colorblind. All right, let's just go around the corner here. I sort of screwed that up. Here we go. Yeah, and there's a lot of all these weapons. I'm just leaving them on the ground because they don't sell for much. And how's our pain? 7%? Not too bad, but I'm gonna eat this hemp. You do miss the style game? I know, it's got that classic, I really like the art style choice here with the pixel art. This feels old school, but it's not. Let's see, and the boss is probably going to be through that double doors. Possibly this one too. Boss will be through some set of double doors. Almost for sure. So we'll explore the other ways first. It's way too refined to be old. Oh yeah, I mean, I agree. I just mean it's got that old school aesthetic. At least at a, 30,000 foot kind of view. Okay. Let's see if the boss is through here. Oh my goodness. It doesn't look like the boss room. Looks like a regular room. Cool. Get wrecked, nerds. The starting two-handed axe is such a good weapon. It's weirdly better than all the other options that guy gives you. Okay, that's the boss room, I think. Has that boss room preset feeling. Pretty sure. Yep, that's the boss. So this guy can do a ton of damage. Oh shit, I aggroed all the other ones. But he's pretty fragile. We'll use consumables while he's on his, oh shit, he's got more friends. This is maybe questionable. We'll throw consumables at his buddies too. Let's see. So yeah, he gets this covered in oil, which makes it so he might fumble. Yeah, caltrops and shout, exactly. That's exactly my plan, Mellet Man. We could also throw the meat at him. Make him covered in oil and alcohol. I think that works, right? But yeah, what I'm gonna do is go here. Throw the caltrops now. Okay. Guess I did think he was blind. Uh-oh. 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 I didn't do this right. This is bad, actually. I'm actually gonna... Alright, that guy's confused at least. Uh-oh. Probably dead. Shit. This guy's at least got head injury. And this guy's got confusion, so maybe he'll just walk away. Oh god, that's so lucky. Let's create a little more distance. Okay. Actually gonna survive. It is a miracle. A miracle. That was, look, I don't play this game often enough to know percentages, but the number of times where you die there, in that situation, it's more than 50%. That's more than 50%. That's definitely more than 50%. I probably can fight this guy once I use first aid. I don't know, maybe that was stupid. Oh my god. I shouldn't have done that. No! That was so stupid. It's been a long time since I played this game. I shouldn't have done that. I was like, you know, that'll heal me a lot, right? Whoops. Oh well. All right, I'll do a new one. This time I'm not going to run to Manshire. We'll just start with the, I mean, screw it.
So here I am.
Yeah, singular goon locked in. Should I do the same one, or should I do the options that I pitched people were Mahir two-handed sword, Leosthenes staves, and Hilda lightning mage. Insane killer. Hello, hello. But yeah, I mean, realistically, I'm only going to stream this game just this one session. You'd like to see magic? All right, if we want to see magic, why don't I just start as Jonah? I suppose Leosthenes starts with Geomancy, but Geomancy is kind of boring for a really long time. More than 50%? Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. Yeah, probably more than 50%. I agree with that. Mage is probably hard to get off the ground early. You think so? I don't know. Could do the same, just not bother with the training, going to other areas before the weaponry tree. That's fair. You did the Stoneshard demo and got your shit rocked by a cloud of rats and haven't tried again. That's fair. Now let's just do magic. Let's just do Jonah. She makes the most sense to do just like starting mage. And let's do pyromancy. Fire's fun. Lighting stuff on fire is fun.
Is that so?
All right, and the intro is always exactly the same. You've been sitting on Stoneshard to finally hit 1.0? I think you're gonna sit for another, like, I don't know, 5 years? Yeah, it's a slow wait. I remember thinking that I'd done something real fancy by grabbing the mugs and then taking them to the innkeeper and then selling them. Oops, that's the wrong button. Oh my god, it's a different button than Battle Brothers. I'm thinking like, I really made bank. Mage is a harder starter, but anyone can... not really. I don't know this game much at all. I don't even know what I'm doing. I feel like Fire Barrage is a great starting spell, though. I know what this one does. This one just shoots out like a bunch of fire. I don't think I can cast it in town, though. 2 coins, net pro... Exactly. Exactly. And then... let's see. Let's do Baptism by Fire as the other one. I think the mage start is pretty easy, right? Because you can just, we'll just go right to the contract. Because you just scoot and shoot. You just scoot and shoot. You shoot, you run. You shoot, you run. You shoot, you run. At least at the start. All right, so we're gonna do our first contract. It's gonna be the same. The map layout is always like really similar. In this case, it's like exactly the same, but it's not always that way. There's backfire, which makes things harder for mage. I mean, that's true. That's true. So the game has some really interesting systems that, I don't know. It's hard to describe unless you've played it, but they do a really good job of I'm not doing a good job of thinking of how I want to articulate what I'm going to say. But, you know, people are talking about backfire. So all backfire is, if I look at our stat sheet, I think it's listed here, is just you take damage when you cast a spell. Let's see. Yeah, backfire chance. So the chance to make a mistake when casting a spell, causing it to backfire. Backfired spells deal damage of the corresponding type to the caster, generate more fatigue, and negatively impact sanity. And so by casting spells, you have a chance to just like take damage. There's all sorts of other systems in the game that help mitigate that. And if you go all in on like the most expensive, biggest heavy hitting fire damage spell, you know, not forgetting, you know, not caring about backfire chance at all and just like trying to max perception and do the biggest damage you can, whoops, you can just kill yourself. Yeah, casting from hit points basically, right? So yeah, there are ways of mitigating it though. There's actually, in my opinion, the easiest way is just dissipation. So there's just a passive where when you receive damage, you gain resistance to that type of damage. And it includes your backfires. If I recall correctly. So the first fire spell that I got here, Fire Barrage, is a ranged spell that's going to shoot out 3 firebolts, like I just did there. And so, since it's only on a 4-turn cooldown, basically what I'm going to do for a lot of enemies is just shoot, move, 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 shoot, move, etc. And then one of these, yeah, so right there, I took 4 fire damage because one of those was a backfire. But the nice thing about the backfire is, like, unlike getting surrounded, it's like you take the damage and you can control your situation afterwards. Some people like to max range and snipe enemies with their spells, yeah. It's a good way of doing it. Probably I just need to get into melee with this guy. I remember one character archetype that I usually enjoy in these types of games that I weirdly, lots of people like it, but I didn't, was like an archer. I tried to make a couple archers and I found the experience like terrible. Just terrible. I hated the playstyle. I very much preferred my like max vitality, crits, and weapon damage, make enemies disappear kind of thing. Late game you can snipe things from half a screen away. That's true. You can do that. You can make a strength scaling crossbow build. I mean, you can. But would it be fun? For a long time, you're forced into being a hybrid because you can't deal enough damage to kill stuff before it can get to you. Yeah. And I think that's what feels bad about the ranged builds. Is like, if you have to do that, but you eventually just want to snipe everyone from range, like, I don't know. Oh yeah, and so Jonah's passive. I should read this because it's different from when I played back in the day. Grants plus 5% power of the corresponding school and plus 5% miracle potency for each unique magic treatise in the inventory. So she just wants to collect a bunch of books. Grants -1 backfire chance for each magic treatise read for the first time. Grants 1% experience. Okay. So basically, you get a backpack, but you just keep a bunch of books in your inventory. Okay. Works for me. Yeah, she's a nerd. Can't use the backpack for it. Oh yeah, can't use the backpack for it. I mean, having the backpack to store stuff since your inventory is full of books. I assumed it couldn't be in your backpack. What's the deal with all these books? I don't know, it's like playing a Larian game. If you think Baldur's Gate 3 is bad, well, their other games are just the same. Ugh, that nerd hit me. So we're gonna have to use our healing salves. So yeah, for those who are here and not part of the Discord, or who are not familiar with the battle brawls that I've run in the past, we'll be doing one this weekend. Sign-ups are live right now. What a battle brawl is a made-up word, but the battle brawl is a community-submitted teams of units in Battle Brothers that are going to fight against each other in AI versus AI controlled battles, and it is a ton of fun. So if you're interested, signups will be live until, you still have like what, 16 hours, something like that. The time is in the Discord, so you have a perfect team this time? Wonderful. Have you submitted one already, Sins? I don't remember seeing it, but I haven't checked for a little while. About to? Hell yeah. Love it. Love it. Good. Good. Yeah, it's a ton of fun. People get pretty into it. And like, I set up a big bracket. You can see VODs of previous tournaments if you want to get like an idea of what they're like. If you just go there and then search for, actually I think it's one of the playlists. I think I put them all on a playlist. You can find all the battle brawls. They're fun. They're really fun. You submitted a bit ago, looking forward to getting wrecked? Hell yeah, hot soup and toast. That's the right spirit. Don't get too invested in your team. You might think you have something brilliant, and you might. Your idea might be incredible, and someone else's idea might be specifically designed to destroy your idea. And that just happens, right? You assume there's going to be a lot of fresh meat this time around, so you think you're going to sit out and gamble? Fair enough. Fair enough. It's a good way of doing it. Oh, and that reminds me. Squigs, are you still here? And let's see, who else was it that I was talking to? Okay. Just as a... Nope, that didn't work. If you don't mind, if you want to type /poll or /prediction and create a poll or prediction, let's make sure you can do it. Because Squigs and Not Delusional both offered to help me run it a little bit this coming weekend, so that I don't have to type out all the predictions each time. I think you should have the ability to do that, Squigs. Let me know if that's not true, and I'll have to figure it out. Yeah, Jonah stands happily among the meaty bits left over from the fight. Right. Oh, and there's Not Delusional. Wonderful. Yes, I made them mods, Dark Paladin. Just now. Just now. It just happened. All right, I'm going to do willpower because it's like the classic mage stat. It is the first 2 people that I have made moderators. Congratulations. I gave the Chaucer access to do stuff for the chat commands for Stream Elements, which has been super helpful. The downside to being a mod is for those 2 will be unable to participate in the predictions. So you clicked on the thing and it muted the stream, so I didn't hear what you asked me to do. Okay. Create a... Yeah. Actually, no. Sins is right. No. Poll... Either create a poll or prediction. So poll or prediction. / and then the command. And then I don't know what your interface will look like, though. Hey, Insane Killer 013, thank you for the Prime sub. I appreciate that. So you're like that. I mean, Sins just knows what he likes. There you go. This is a test. Yes! This is the run. Looks like it worked. Well done, Not Delusional. At least I'm assuming. I liked your choices. It is a /, so hopefully this makes it. But depending on your client, I don't know what your experience will be. Like, I don't know if that will just work or if that's just something that I don't know. Giants Bruce, hello, hello. How's it going? Oh, we're blasting this nerd. Got him. And one of them dropped a flatbread. Tasty. Been playing Project Diablo? Nice! How is that? I was watching some people play that. Some of the old, like Last Epoch and PoE streamers that I've enjoyed over the years. Taking up all your game and energy? Well, I hope it's been fun. It looks fun. If you like Diablo 2 as a kid, you owe it to yourself to try it sometime. I did. And I probably should, because it's just another mod, kind of like Median XL, right? At least big picture-wise. Is this a short break from Battle Brothers, or are we done with that game for a while? No, this is a short break. This is going to be a one-off stream. I just kind of wanted to... So, I mean, basically, here's what's going through my head. My original intent for Run 28 was that it was going to be the last one. Like, actually the last one. And that would have been true if I hadn't have made it so far. Now that I've seen what the run can look like, that's given me the insight for how to play it in the future. And so, because of that, I can't be stopped. But I do want to give myself a little bit of separation in time, just because I was kind of, you know, I'm a relentless person. I don't let anything beat me down, but I will take a break, right? If I'm learning a new song on guitar and I'm getting real frustrated, I need to stop. That doesn't mean I can't pick up my guitar tomorrow and try to play it again. It's kind of the same principle. So anyway, I didn't want to, just let the stream sit and rot. So I wanted to play something. And so I'm just going to do this as a one-off, just because it's a fun game. And I think if you haven't played or seen this game, you owe it to yourself to try it. If you think this is up your alley, it is fun. And so anyway, all that is to say, Battle Brothers will continue soon. So, but yeah, Diablo 1 was incredible. OG Diablo 1 is like... That was so much fun. Diablo 2 was as well. So we're playing Battle Brothers tomorrow? No, not tomorrow. I will be... So the plan, current schedule... I should do a better job of announcing my schedule, at least on Discord. It's hard for me to keep a super consistent schedule, just because, my wife likes to go out and do things. I do too. And so she and I like to go do things together. And so especially in the summer, my schedule is kind of, all over the place. So tomorrow I will not be streaming because I'm going to be out and about downtown. On Friday, I'm going to be at a baseball game, of all things. So no stream on Friday. But Saturday, I'm going to run the Battle Brawl. Sunday, I'm going to run the Battle Brawl Day 2. And then probably on Monday, we start not run 29, but run number 1 of the win streak of the challenge. Oh man, Hot Seat, Heroes of Might and Magic on a rainy day. Oh, so much fun. So much fun. Ooh, actually. You madman? Yeah, I can't be stopped. I can't help it. It's like, it's built into my personality. I'm a flawed person, and I know that. But I can't help it. Yeah, dude, Heroes 3 Hot Seat. God, so much fun. Did something happen to 28? Don't worry about it. And I did not get a crowbar before entering the dungeon. That's a mistake. But so far, not punished. What, run 28? Yeah. Yeah, right. Have you heard of the Midwest? Yeah, we love our Heroes games. The sun in Run 28 was blotted by arrows. Yeah. You know, the thing is, so in Run 28, if you watch the VOD of when it fails, the moment I make my gasp sound was when I knew I was totally fucked. There's a sound I make that is distinct, that's like not a normal sound. It's a genuine gasp. I realized in that moment that I was paying attention to making sure that the Blade Dancer didn't footwork and that the Executioner couldn't run on my backline. And I tore apart my formation and I made it so that the archers had only the perfectly worst target. The -5 range defense, huge nimble brother was the scatter target for their attacks. As soon as I did that gasp, I looked at the battlefield and I was like, oh no, it's over. And it was like, I can do my best to make the miracle possible. But like, if you were to look at a heart rate monitor, that gasp is the moment where my heart rate just spikes and I'm like, oh, I fucked up. I fucked up bad. Yeah, it's really hard not to make an oversight like that once every 100 fights. Exactly. Let me guess, Nomad Archers? Yeah, Nomad Archers and, what are they called? Desert Stalkers? And it's the Desert Stalker, as soon as the Desert Stalker did that like warbow shot that hit him in the chest after the armor was destroyed, and my Nimble Brother lost like half his HP, because of course they have, you know, Executioner as well. Like in one attack, I was like, oh shit. Like he's dead. Like he's dead. Yeah. So anyway. But I've got some insights that I've learned and some misunderstandings I had about where the difficulties would be, to where I actually genuinely, not trolling, believe that it is a win streakable achievement. Like actually. Oh, that's too many enemies. Yeah, honestly, the first 10 days are the only hard part. Genuinely. Which I know probably makes me and Sin seem like a crazy person. But it's so easy to have a combination of greed and... hubris isn't even the right word, but just like... it's easy to get sloppy, lazy. Slurgy, you look like a crazy person since day one. That's true. Yeah, greed or panic about running out of resources, which is why I think, honestly, well, I'm gonna have a little mini presentation on Monday before the start of the new win streak. But anyway, one of the key takeaways is like, there's no reason for not playing much more slowly and getting the resource increasing retinue. Like the scavenger. And honestly, the cook. And one of the benefits of the cook is that the cook lets you be far from civilization, not rely on caravans, with much higher famed item chance. And that's going to be part of the strategy as well. Friendship and oh no, cartographer is going to be still going to be an early pickup. But like one of the things I thought was interesting was one of the feedback, one of the feedbacks that I'd received several times is people are like, I can't understand why you're not getting scout. And it's like, I'm as big a scout stan as anyone else, but in the context of the weird rule set with no time limit, actually the scout is kind of irrelevant. Not irrelevant, right? Tempo still matters, and running from noble armies that are chasing you matters, and things like that, but like, it doesn't matter that much. The cook also is great for event fishing, because having the cook gets rid of a whole bunch of things from the event pool, which is really nice. Yeah, Sins, I'm thinking those are the ones. That's going to be the retinue. Those 5. Just like that. I don't know if that'll be the... So I'll leave the order at least somewhat open. Lookout, so Sins is saying, Lookout, Scavenger, Cartographer, Cook, and Bounty Hunter. So the only thing I'm really set on is that Bounty Hunter can be last. Or at least 4th. Yeah, Cartographer can come later than we think. I'm actually thinking... I'm not sure. It partially depends on the seed, but... Yeah. Cardo for killing camps near town isn't really a payoff, especially if you have to spend 5 days wandering to look for a legendary. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, now that I got this straw, I can make a bedroll for a big pile of experience. Is Stoneshard close to 1.0? I don't buy early access because how close... I don't know. I don't... They have announced timelines in the past that are just straight up lies, so... Yeah, I think I'm inclined to agree with Rufin that if the seed has any tool cities that can be camped for tools, you think Cardo's still the play. Either Cardo or I am wondering if Lookout is the somewhat safer first retinue. It's really nice to be able to see what the footsteps are, specifically for fighting mercenaries. Oh no, the run? Yeah. Yeah, Lookout to find mercs is pretty strong. Knowing what footprints to chase / avoid, especially since you can see the footprints in the forest before you can see the party. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Seeing the footprints before the party, and then just like looking at the footprints and being like, oh, this is a noble army. I don't want to fight this. Or, oh, this is brigands. Probably want to fight this. Or, oh, this is a caravan, and I'm pretty sure I know where it came from. I definitely want to fight this. You know, that kind of thing. I think that's what makes the most sense. So I do think that the order probably is Lookout, Cartographer, Scavenger most of the time. I'm going to let myself be somewhat flexible with that, depending on what the needs are. But I do think that I do need the first 3 to be those. Picking the Bounty Hunter in the previous run, I understand my motivation for it, but it was a stupid choice. Yeah, being able to follow footprints back to camps, sure. Though I think realistically, most of the time I will want to keep camps alive. Like Briggy camps, for example. Yeah, I think the thing about the Bounty Hunter is I got the Bounty Hunter thinking I wanted to increase the chance of champions early, and I wasn't really thinking that I needed gold at the time. I think the play with the Bounty Hunter is to get the Bounty Hunter last because you let the natural champion chance increase, and you're really doing it for gold. So, is that a starting pyro? It is. It is a starting pyro. And we're just going to get all 4 pyro stats, because why not? But yeah, I think my thought process of like getting the Bounty Hunter as my 3rd retinue was a huge mistake. And it slowed me down in a way that I didn't need to be slowed down, I also thought that Spear Bros, my tried, tested, and true, Slurgy's favorite build, wouldn't be effective in the run because I would be spending most of my time fighting brigands, nomads, and noble armies, where Spear Bros are not particularly effective. And that actually is just not true, because as soon as you're able to leave that part of the map, you absolutely can go off and fight goblins and orcs and barbarians. And in fact, you want to, just like a normal run. In fact, even more so, because you want to get those famed items. You want to get those shinies. And you want to get them before the enemies start scaling up to where the T3 camps become, you know, somewhat unmanageable. But I think the curve kind of comes back around. Anyway, all that is to say, I know that I can still basically fight those same enemies, and that they are accessible, and that there's a playstyle that I like doing and I'm comfortable with that I'm going to get back to. So, you think builds have to be very flexible based on the bros you find? Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, I just feel like I've got a plan for a Spear Bro build that is more tolerant of lower stats, because the build itself is ready for enemies to penetrate the spear wall and become a pseudo tank. So I think that's fine. Don't make puncture without fast adaptation. See, I don't think I'm gonna need to get a puncture bro. I think the early scab is the key. So. Yeah, and I think the plan for the bad bros is pretty natural to follow spear bro type builds. You made a puncture bro for the challenge and was not happy. Why were you not happy with it? Because I would think that the ability to kind of get armors before resolve check breaks, like getting an abundance of armors from fights, normally, like people talk about making puncture bros for that reason in a normal run, and I'm like, why bother? Because you can just repair your armors. But in a tools-starved run, I feel like it's pretty valuable. They don't drop at high enough durability to matter. Maybe not enough to matter, I guess. Fair enough. Maybe not frequently enough. Yeah, I don't know. You make a puncture tank hybrid because there's a huge overlap in stats. That's more or less why I like my Spear Bro tank hybrid. Or like, not tank isn't quite the right word. A Spear Bro with a shield. Anyway, the stats have reasonable overlap. It's kind of, I think it's more like, I think Sin's the way you classify it, just like the hand-wavy defensive brother, is more or less the same kind of bro that I'll make a spear bro. Only probably the ones with better melee attack, but like, it's kind of how I end up using them. What are the items you have to pick up to make money now? I'm sure there's some Stoneshard experts here that can give you good insight. I feel like most of my money I gain in Stoneshard is not from picking up stuff. Unless it says the word valuable next to it, most of the money is just like the contracts themselves. Just get 2 lone wolves and make Battleforged Spear Bros. Just you wait, Insane Killer. Just you wait. Because, well, all will make sense in time. But one of the things that that I'm planning on doing or realizing is that it is important for the bros to be able to be optimally powerful throughout the course of a whole, you know, early game to late game. And it's also very easy to start making mistakes later in a run. And there's going to be a lot of bros that I'm going to take both Nimble and Battleforged on. And the idea is that early game it'll be Nimble. In some fights / late game, they'll be Forged. And once the gear gets good enough, they will often be Nimble Forged. I did a little bit of calculation on just like what is a totally median set of named armor. Totally taking every single helmet, every single body armor, doing exactly, you know, the median of all possible fatigue values and durability levels. Obviously, this is without any like trying to make intelligent selections together. And you come up to 557.5 total durability and 35.5 fatigue, which is like 80-ish% nimble. And so improving on those numbers somewhat, either in the Forged with AFP, very hand-wavy description, or Nimble with a little extra armor durability. There's lots of famed armor that's going to fit in that window. And given the time horizon to farm them, we'll find them. We'll find plenty of sets like that. So Nimble as a tempo perk, but Forged as a late game perk, and being happy with both for like when we really start having Nimble Forged sets like actually be available on brothers that can use the fatigue, I think is actually going to be totally legit. Forge is an eco perk. Saves tools. And there's lots of enemies in the game where I was surprised. So I also ran some calculations on, you know, what increased survivability does a pure Nimble brother with just like Southern mail shirt and a nasal helmet gain against... do I still have those calculations open? No, I closed them. And I didn't write them down, but it doesn't matter. You can run them yourself. The increased survivability against an Ancient Bladed Pike went from like 4.5 hits to death to like 5. It was way more than I thought. I thought it would be like maybe 0.2 of a hit. That's still not very much, don't get me wrong. Like less than a whole hit. But it's more than I thought. And when looking at like a goblin with a boondock bow, oh my goodness. This is too many enemies. A goblin with a boondock bow, it went from like 11 to 13. It made a huge difference. Nimble Spear Bros opening up low or no damage zombie fights would be a great experience source compared to 20. Yeah. The Nimble Spear Bros are going to be huge for making a whole bunch of fights just literally free. You have a late game noble army here with 8 units only, but it's 2 knights, 2 Zweihanders, and a sergeant? I mean, without seeing your team roof, and I don't know if there's a good way to answer if that's dangerous. But 8 units is not very many. see. I have to get near the exit here. This is a spooky little group of boys. There we go. Oh, we had a pair. Okay, I'm gonna make sure we're topped off and ready before we fight that. But yeah, I also feel like I just feel comfortable with Spear Bros for a no-loss run. Because I'm so familiar running that kind of comp is a big part of it. Your team is like level 13, pretty strong? I mean, I think you can do it then. Knights don't have that much damage output. They're just hard to bring down. Okay, we are cheesing this boss by taking these enemies out one at a time. Do knights drop any relevant loot? Definitely. The 320 helmets. If you don't have any helmets with the decorated ornate full helm or whatever they're called. Yeah, you can get 320 helmets from it, which are super relevant. Also just like, you know, coat of plates, forged armors. One thing about fire magic in this game that's really fun, by the way, is so like obviously this doesn't apply to fighting the human enemies. He just pulled me into my own fire. That's really bad, actually. I wonder if I should pour water on myself. I probably should. Is that when you... Oh, no. How? Why did I get relit on fire? Yikes. I was gonna say, if you fight animals and they and you skin them for their meat, it's already cooked. All right, so is there anything here that can help me deal with pain? I can use these mushrooms. So yeah, if you fight a boar and you use fire magic, when you skin it, you get roasted pork. Makes sense. All right, before I fight that boss, I'm gonna play it safe. Make sure I'm well rested and have my water skin filled. You just bought Space Haven on sale, 3 hours looking pretty good. Never even heard of that. Oh no, I'm thirsty. It's because I had to use all that water on my burning body. And I'm still in pain, which sucks. Ooh, wormwood. Roasted fly agaric, is it tasty? You know, it gets rid of pain. If I recall. I guess I should have looked at exactly what it does. I think it does that, but also increases intoxication and decreases sanity, something like that. you don't want to have too many. But yeah, I can make a little lentil soup to bring the morale and sanity back up. Oh yeah, Zweihanders also have Zweihander helmets. Right. All right. So we're gonna stay the night here. But first things first, let's make ourselves a tasty, tasty lentil soup. I'll sell some things to the vendors, and then head back to the dungeon. Fill up our water skin. Forgot to fill the water thing? Yeah, no, it's like an old habit that I remembered from my old save file, where I would leave water in the places where I might want to cook food in the future. So that's what I was doing there. Because I'll probably, I actually have never done a Jonah character, so I'll probably keep Jonah rolling off stream. She'll stick around. I'll probably do another playthrough. It's I think I've got a good place in my current gaming itinerary to fit in a little Stoneshard. It's a fun game. And it's been a hot minute since I've done a run of it, so. No, off stream teach you. I'm not a good teacher for this game. So, no. I am sure you could watch literally anyone else and learn more about this game. I am not the master. I know very little. I made a couple builds that made it to like level 30 that can clear all the content. But I'm limited to just those two. And it was a while ago. Not even doing border cheese? I don't even know what that means. But I'm the only one streaming the first steps? Oh no. I am sure there's videos of people doing. If there's not, there should be. Plus, you literally just watched a character die moments ago. You don't like video? I mean, that's fair. You can't ask a video a question. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I do think there is a benefit to the seeing it live and being able to interface with it, and you know, this is sensible. That's sensible. You just arrived? Oh well. Nope. Squigs enabled and disabled emote only mode. Love it. I was very pleased with someone's suggestion when I did the artifact reliquary for the first time to put the chat on emote only mode to avoid spoilers. I thought that was great. Let's see, how long does that last? 17, okay. So that's it, right? Yeah, feel free to, you know, learn your new powers. quickly they take power. Well, one of the things is, you know, when I'm running the Battle Brawl and I'm setting up the teams, I also set up the predictions and the polls and whatever. It'll be a lot smoother to have someone who can help out with that. The VIPs realized they could chat anyway. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. They could, couldn't they? I think they realized it, but people still respected it and just communicated only in emotes because it was, you know, the right thing to do. So like these things, Argentov, like King's Bust or Bolt of Cloth, if they say the word valuable under them and they've got a little gold icon in the bottom right that says something higher than like 10, early on, you want those. Because when you sell these, you get a lot of money. And it is from that money that you can buy like some chain armor or things like that that make things a lot smoother. But if anyone else has better tips than that, feel free to chime in. Because as previously stated, this game is, I mean, I've played it, but I don't know that much about it. Oh, complete the first contract. Okay, I gotta destroy one more workshop after this one. Beats? Love beats. Zweihanders have no chill? Zweihanders have no chill. A gray crab? Huh. I did not know that was a thing you could find in a cupboard. That must be new. Sturdy advice, valuable items are indeed valuable. Mm-hmm. I'm helping. Crab meat in a dungeon? I'm sure it's just Dungeness crab. Anyway. Can't be worse than gas station sushi? Definitely not. Holy crap, that joke. Which one? You actually liked it? Okay, good. Good. As soon as it came to mind, I couldn't resist. That's not the kind of thing where I'm going to show restraint. You like gas station sushi? It's wonderfully bad. You know, there is a piece of me that has, there are certain foods that I would say are definitely bad that I enjoy because of the nostalgia. Gas station sushi is not among them. But like, what's a good example? Oh, like crappy coffee. Like really bad flavored coffee. I'm talking like the kind of coffee that uses fancy words because it's so bad. It'll be like chocolate velvet flavored. And it'll be like Maxwell House. Hits the spot. Yeah, bad diner coffee too. Yeah, definitely. Like the diner coffee that's been sitting on the burner for way too long because you went in for lunch and it's just still the, you know, the pot from this morning. And like it tastes a little bit burnt, but it's not that bad because it was too weak to start with. So it's just a really bad cup of coffee. Hey, sometimes that's what you want. Wonder Bread is a hot dog bun? Yes. Yes, exactly. That is a perfect example. Anytime your mom visits, you make Chef Boyardee pizza with just the ingredients on the box. Oh my God. These are great examples. These are great examples. Anyway, all that is to say, sometimes it's the bad food that's really good. I do the same when your mom visits. Hey-o. Got him. Bread is a hot dog bun is an Appalachian staple. You'll find it in the Midwest as well. Though, I think the closer you get to like the upper Midwest, like the Great Lakes, they're pretty good at using a proper hot dog bun. Like in Chicago or Wisconsin. Pretty sure they're always going to be using a bun. Yeah, bread as a hot dog bun is just a poor person staple. It's true. It's true. It really is. And honestly, all the different ways you can decorate mac and cheese, which usually just kind of make it worse, but it makes it different, right? You had mac and cheese last night. You're going to have mac and cheese again. Not hot dogs, though. Let's cut up the little smokies. We'll put those in there. Sliced beets? Shit, you can throw that. You can throw that in mac and cheese. It's not that bad. I'm making you hungry? Myself too, actually. I didn't really eat dinner. I had like a kind of dinner. Oh, green beans. Green beans and mac and cheese. That was another common one. Especially if, you know, so I grew up pretty poor and we would have, but we would, you know, my dad always had like a very robust vegetable garden. And so it was pretty important to just eat all the veggies from the vegetable garden. And so green beans in mac and cheese is definitely a thing that I won't say I enjoyed, but I did do that. That is a thing I ate. But, you know, when the green beans all pop at once, that's just what you have. So that's what you eat. You know, I've got a bunch of beans in my garden. They haven't popped yet. Like they haven't, like the plant, I've just got the plants. I might make that here in like, I don't know, a few weeks or whenever I actually have beans to harvest. The green bean and snap pea chips are really good. Yeah, they are actually. So poor you play the guess the leftovers in the I can't believe it's not butter leftovers. Oh man. Or even better, God, there was an off-brand of butter that used to be at there's the brand of grocery stores called Fairway in the Midwest. It's like really cheap. Not quite as inexpensive as Aldi, but it's that same kind of price point. Anyway, they had an off-brand butter that was not let's see, what was the exact way it was phrased? It was, could it be butter? That's still forever will remain funny to me. Like, that they ask it as a question. Could it be butter? I don't know why I find it so funny. but it was their off-brand of the off-brand. It was their off-brand margarine, because I can't believe it's not butter was already taken. But they wanted to, you know, evoke the same emotions. So good. You love Fairway? Yeah, quality, cheap products and a great meat counter. Yes, exactly. Fairway's meat counter, so it was like a traditional grocery store with like a proper meat counter, unlike, for example, Aldi. But still super cheap. Fairway's a super expensive grocery store in Manhattan. Interesting. Definitely a different Fairway then. Okay, so we completed our first contract. We got paid. We can, once we reach a certain reputation in Osbrook. Oh, I think we did it. Yeah, we can get like chain armor. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we did it. And this is way more defensive. And even as Jonah, who's, you know, a caster, I'm still gonna get this medium armor and complete the other contracts in Osbrook, because it's going to be much smoother to have this, because you just take so much less damage. We're eventually not going to use medium armor. We're going to go back to like light mage armor gear, but we'll equip it for now. Chain armor pyro. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's the wrong thing to do, but like, I feel like it'll make things nice and smooth. The magic gear's all kind of crap for a little while anyway. Well, let's see. What do I want to replace, actually? Definitely the helmet. Should we just get this pot helmet? It's probably fine. And then some boots. Which one of these two boots do I want? I guess I'll go with the recruit boots. The ones that gimp our energy less. And we still got some money. Let's just get another crowbar. Oh yeah, so this guy, he's gonna do what happened, blah, 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 blah. Oh, we need the Oops, I think I just purchased a rumor. That's not what I meant to do. Okay. Sell that stuff. And let's see. It'd be nice to have a belt and amulet of some kind. We'll be all right without it for now, but and we can do a couple more contracts here in Osbrook. There's kind of like three, and I think there will be more. There's basically three different factions in the game. There's like the brigands, there's the like equivalent in Battle Brothers, they're like the ancient dead. They're like skeletons. And they're the ones with the necromancer. And then there's like cultists who are like demonic, into torture and transmogrifying and, you know, cool stuff like that. So we fought a Briggy contract. So then Restless Crypt is going to be the like undead one, and then Fate of the Scouting Party is going to be the demonic one. But we'll do the Ancient Dead. Pyro's pretty good against them because I think they'll just like march into your fire. So I think as a Pyro Mage, it's probably pretty easy to just do that one. I think that's true. The Proselyte and Stoneshard are kind of like the new enemies in Battle Brothers. Yeah, kind of. Kind of. Couldn't even reach level 2 and say, well, okay. I mean, well, of our options, it's the easiest. So we'll go ahead and do that. Make our way over to fight them undead. So we're just gonna head straight left. One of the economic playstyles in this game is all of the wildlife you see, like the little bunnies and things like that. And then later, you know, the scarier ones like moose and boars and bears. There's a whole set of trees and skills and whatever devoted to harvesting their pelts, and including one of your camp followers. And so you can make quite a lot of money once you've got a build that can, you know, fight bison or whatever. Hopefully you don't run into a bear. Yeah, we're not going to run into a bear. Bears don't have any movement skills anyway. I'm not worried about a bear. I'm more worried about a boar. Humans? Get out of here. Did we complete the 28th round for Battle Brothers? We completed it. It completed. It was the run that showed us the way. It was the run that showed us the way. It was the run. It was the run. But it wasn't the run to go to completion. It was the run that lit our path, that showed us the truth, that guided us to our ultimate beginning of the new true journey, which is the new win streak of the challenge. Oh my God. There it is. It was the run after all. Wait, so that really happened? Yeah. Oh, good. Squigs pinned it. Oh, Squigs, you have that power now. Great. Thank you. Yes. Yes, that really happened. So it was the run, and I misunderstood. It was just the run that showed us the way. Yeah, and I referenced it earlier, but in that clip, I'm assuming it's in that clip, I make a gasp, a little tiny sound, as soon as I make that sound is when I've already recognized the inevitable. And that I realize where and how I screwed up. And that I'm definitely going to lose a brother. So you should sell insurance with that kind of gobbledygook. I used to sell like musical instruments and guitars. Does that count? And it's funny, actually, I got that job because I brought a friend into the guitar store because he wanted a guitar. And we go in, and as he's like playing them, and I'm like, I know you don't know how to play, just put it in your lap and strum the strings. And I was saying to him, like, how does that make you feel? Do you feel that connection with the instrument? Anyway, the person who owned the store was watching this all transpire, and he literally offered me a job as soon as my friend bought that guitar. He's like, hey, would you like a job here? So, anyway. Hey, Broad Metal Look 2, yeah. Yeah. It's hard to watch. Yeah. It was hard to experience. That's for sure. Alright, so we got some zombies here. And I think, let's try this. Haha, it does work. Let's see, if I do this, will he charge into me still? Cool. Yeah, these undead are taking so much damage just from walking through the fire. Wonderful. But yeah, I mean, realistically, one thing too is that I even recognized in that same stream that I was pulling in money and resources way faster than I anticipated needing them. I bought a cart upgrade. Anyway, there was no reason for me to need to fight those higher risk fights. It's just like complacency slash overconfidence slash like not boredom exactly, but like where I was like, I want a challenge. Like I seek that out. But I don't need to seek that out. I just want to complete this damn challenge. You want to tell me a little bit about Stoneshard? Yeah, so Stoneshard is a thematically similar game to Battle Brothers, where you are a individual mercenary and you go from town to town completing contracts. The gameplay itself, I bet I can funnel them in through here, plays more like an RPG. You know, you've got an inventory, you've got skill trees. It's cute pixel art, turn-based, just a fun game. The gameplay's like the Icy Cavern fight? Sure. Close enough. And I'm pretty sure they have like fumble chance too, right? Yeah, burning gives fumble chance. Yeah, they're so unlikely to hit me. I see you have veggies in your inventory. Can you make like a soup or stew? Yes, actually. We can make a peasant stew from the lentils, carrot, and leek. If we had 2 lentils, plus any other vegetable, or mushroom? Maybe it's just two lentils and a vegetable. Anyway, you can make a lentil soup. Which sounds kind of good right now. I could go for a lentil soup. Oh, that spot of fire is really annoying. Okay, burned through all my energy there. But yeah, this build, you know, fire's really good against zombies. Where they just run right into it. The dummies. And then the different factions in the game, kind of like the different factions in Battle Brothers actually, have different types of things that you can get from them. Some of which are more valuable to certain builds than others, some of which are more valuable. I don't know. They're just different loot, which is cool. Did I pick a class? You pick a character, and the characters have a sort of class built into them. And so I picked actually Manshire as the first run, and then got overconfident and died. Whoops. But then started another one as Jonah, who's a runaway sorceress. And she's pretty naturally inclined towards magical stuff. I'm going to clear the rest of the dungeon, even though we've completed the holy buckets. It's a party. Can probably fight these rats in the open. I don't know if they'll go in fire. They will not. I don't remember rats being in this dungeon. This type of dungeon. I wonder if they changed that in the patch. Like a little bit ago? They must have. Am I immune to fire or just my own fire? I am not immune to fire, and I'm definitely not immune to my own fire. And in fact, in the previous dungeon, I lit myself on fire and nearly killed myself. We just have a spell that does a ring of fire, and we are in the one singular protected spot in the center. Ooh, unidentified staff. Actually, don't I have a... no. That's right. The Johnny Cash spell. I fell into a burning ring of fire. That's the one. I get it. Sounds hot? Mm-hmm. Definitely. Alright, I think we basically cleared this dungeon out of all of its threats. The other game I was thinking of streaming this evening was some Monster Train 2, but I figure there's enough people playing that game and showing it off to the world. I think Stoneshard is a game that's very fun, well designed, and deserves a little recognition. Not Battle Brothers? Well, giving myself a short break. A short break. Battle Brothers will return. And it'll return soon. Might drop some more dad jokes soon. I love dad jokes. The kind of jokes that don't make you laugh but make you groan, those are the best. It's just the best. But also the worst, and that's what makes them the best. Oh, why can't I pick up these eggs? Here we go. Why can't you trust trees? Because they're shady. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, that's good. Like Bijante jokes? Well, hello, Bijante. Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. What did one math book say to the other? Ooh. What did one math book say to the other? Sometimes it's fun to try to figure out what the punchline might be. You're full of problems? Okay, all right. That's good. I like it. I like it. I thought it was going to be something about like the book opening up or something. But I was trying to make that mathy. Couldn't quite get there. All right, we got this unidentified staff that I can identify in town, and it could potentially be better than our current one. Did you know that the inventor of the Ferris wheel and the inventor of the merry-go-round never met? They ran in different circles. Shit. So your character is a real hottie. You might say she's a real firecracker. Mm-hmm. Sure is. She's a runaway sorceress. I think the game actually does imply that one of her previous, maybe it says it explicitly, mentors was not a good person. She had to escape. Who identifies items? You know, so there is a dude who can do it later, I think. But early game, and maybe just kind of all the time, you just have to buy scrolls of identification. Where is Deckard Cain when you need him? Are geomancers still OP? Probably. Couldn't tell you. Stay a while and listen. That's right. Oh, good old Deckard Cain. You have quite a treasure there in that Roderick cube. To use it as you would a scroll. Which I think is a really good way of telling you how to use it. Use it as you would a scroll. Doesn't break immersion. Doesn't tell you to right click. Just says use it as you would a scroll. So good. All right, let's claim our reward from the contract, actually. Then we'll get a new one. You bet she's good at rapping because she's always spitting fire. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Okay, so he's going to give us a secondary objective to clear out the brewery. But we're going to do the third regular contract here first. The brewery, which is a hard word to say. The brewery contract quest thing, whatever it is the last thing you do before you leave this town. And then you go to Bryn and then Manshire. So you get to see some other cities and stuff. Okay, so I want to go ahead and just change out our chest armor. Even though we're going to be losing some magic power, that's fine. I think for now it'll just be simpler to have the chain mail on. We'll replace it with proper magic gear later when our spells are more powerful and stuff. The inventory UI makes you anxious. Why is that? Why does it make you anxious? So does alcohol burn in this game too? Yeah, so if you throw alcohol at an enemy, one of the side effects is lowering their magic resist. Managing it? Yeah, that's fair. Managing the inventory is kind of I think it's kind of a pain point. I think the main thing for me that I had to get over was just accepting that there's tons of stuff with low value that you can just leave behind. And it's okay. And your time has real value. And you can just move on and don't worry about it. Just throw stuff on the ground. Who cares? The authorities are looking for a runaway sorceress, but they'll never suspect this little soldier girl. Yes. But interestingly, I think the game also does say that, you know, most of the schools of magic in the Aldorian nation don't normally accept women students. So Jonah was an exception. Good for her. Except it didn't go well for her because she had to run away. But that's all right. She's making her way in this world, as a little sorceress sometimes needs to do. You sense booze hounding in my future? Me too. I'm gonna be... Yeah. And, you know, booze in this game, it lowers your pain. Takes the edge off, you know? So we're low on food, so I'm picking strawberries and stuff on our way. We're gonna be traveling up to the Pilgrim's Rest. There can sometimes be dangerous wildlife in the area, so we'll have to be mindful of that. He's definitely gonna die, yeah. So we also have, one of the things we have is, let's see... Yeah, baptism by fire, which is increasing our pyromantic power for each burning tile or enemy within vision. So we become more attuned to the flames the more stuff we light on fire. You love to see it. But yeah, some of the late game dungeons are like really fun. And they're really fun as you experience them for the first time and you realize what the enemies can do. It's actually really fun to problem solve character builds that can solve those problems. And I'm telling you, man, 30 vitality plus adrenaline rush, it solves a lot of problems. Have I encountered mage hunters then? Oh yeah. Most of the builds that I've made didn't have any problems with mage hunters. But I haven't made a like proper mage actually, yet. Vampire dungeons were 3 times tougher than the others when you used to play this. That's probably still true. I think that's probably still true. I think they are still the hardest. When our morale is almost below 50%. We'll eat some spearmint to increase our morale. Apparently that works. What do I think of your team name? I don't think I've seen it yet, Ballenstallen. I saw that you submitted it, and I saw that you messaged me on Discord. It apparently has something to do with basketball. I'm probably not gonna know it. But I might. I know the 86 Bulls. I know that they had Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and some others. Anything that includes spear in it improves Slurgy's morale. Yeah, actually, you know what? I've never made a spear build in this game though, which feels like a miss. I probably should. The spear is a very natural weapon and choice to take out the troll. You know? Was not the run, was the name. Oh, sad. But it was the run, Ballenstallen. It was the run that showed us the way. It was the run that lit our path to the true future. It was the run that we needed. Dovcool has shown us. Dovcool has lit our path. The path to darkness is lit with torches. You know? Spear's a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean the spear having you know, so one of the things I remember when I was thinking about potential spear builds in Stoneshard, I remember thinking, again, because I always want to do weird hipster shit, it's just my inclination in these types of games. I want to find the thing that shouldn't work or that the character's not designed to do but actually secretly can, and then find that and do it. I remember thinking that no retreat here, giving cooldown reduction, you know, the minus cooldowns duration, and I think there were some other forms of cooldowns duration somewhere here. But I don't remember where. Maybe it wasn't in the spear tree. Maybe it was like looking at No Time to Linger and Sudden Lunge. Anyway, I was thinking of a way to use willpower spears. That's right. A willpower spear build where you can constantly do Sudden Lunge, I think, or something like that. What was my plan? And basically always have adrenaline rush up because I'm obsessed with it. Because it's so good. Something like that. You played Willpower Spears before Rags to Riches? Nice. How was it? Will you try the Battle Brothers challenge again, or are you done? Yeah, on Monday. This is a sanity reset. It was dope, spanning skills like no tomorrow. Nice. love how you went from the long explanation to yeah, Monday. Well, I don't want to repeat the explanation. But, you know, I've already decided when it's going to be. Kind of worried about these two axe guys. But yeah, I don't know. Ooh. Burning and bleeding. That's not good. Alright, we're gonna have to remove our own flame and maybe die? Ooh, good thing we got the second wind. Good lord. The day you didn't catch the stream and back... Well, yeah. I mean, that's why. No, I won't even... But yeah, it was sad. So sad. Is second wind a kind of 9 lives? Yeah, basically. But I think it just happens. I think your psyche has to be good for it to proc, and I think the way they reworked Arna makes it so that she's able to get it more reliably. Doesn't seem like something you should rely on though. Yeah, it's random. Ooh, berries. Lingonberries. Sounds tasty. Let's see. Doing okay, stat-wise here. We all crashed out with you at the end of 28. Run 28. You know, I still think back to run 14, run 25, but run 28. There are actually 2 second winds, one that can trigger randomly during combat, and one that has a small chance to trigger on a would-be lethal hit. Both are on a separate cooldown. Interesting. Do they both appear the same way in the UI? I'm Just Rocket? Like they both just appear at the top? Okay, so these are new enemies that we haven't seen yet. We've got the Harbinger, which like screams. It's like a ranged attack that drains your sanity. Or is it just that it hits you in the head? It just hits you in the head. I think it hits you in the head. And then there's this dude who wants to make you bleed. One cool thing about this game, I haven't really been showing it yet. I think it's probably most relevant in this dungeon, is looking at the, you know, you can always inspect and learn more about the enemies, and it uses the exact same type of tooltip as the player has. So like, this is just like a type of attack you could have. Lacerate, same kind of deal. But then, yeah, Bloodthirst, so they gain blah blah blah, deliver a strike. But then Blood Scent, that was the one I was looking for. Each bleeding enemy or ally within vision grants extra weapon damage, crit chance, and counter chance. So basically, if he hits you and you start bleeding, not only do you want to be incentivized to get rid of your bleed because, well, you're bleeding, but you're giving him more damage. So it can make a difference. You managed to dagger down the 2 Zweihanders and 2 Knights? Well, congratulations, Rufin. Nicely done. And let's see. This is a net hydration in the mead. I am concerned about our thirst. We'll drink some now. You were so sure it was the run you dropped your phone and soda when it happened? Yeah. Imagine what happened to my hair. I do find the on-screen effects can be a bit much though. Even the one like when you've got drunkenness and it gets a little bit hazy. That one's nothing compared to some of the effects. Like bad trip. Dude, your skin, your whole screen goes nuts. You know what happened to my hair? Jonah burnt it? Mm-hmm. Pretty sure that's true. Ooh, and a net. Nets in this game are not that dissimilar from nets in Battle Brothers. They kind of work basically the same way and do kind of the same stuff. All right, and then this guy, we haven't shown him yet. So he has, upon death, grants blood oath to all proselytes within range. So that's like, they're all that. So he basically has a big flag over him that says, "Kill me last." So we'll be focusing on this guy first, then we'll take out that guy. I feel like this faction is the one that does the best job of like giving you strategic insight from just like the way that their skills work, as opposed to the undead where it's like they just keep coming at you. Like, okay, and I'm picking up these protective seals, which is apparently how you're learning about the scout's fate, I guess. It's proof that you found their body, I think is the idea. These types of dungeons tend to have lots of like bookcases, which is where often you'll find like skills and stuff. You took 300 armor damage total, but acquired 2 decorated full helms, a coat of plates, and 2 Zweihander's helmets. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Rufin, that sounds great. Do your skills improve through use, or do you... Yeah, you choose them when you level. So there's a whole set of skill trees. So right now we've just put our points into pyromancy. Skills also kind of improve through gear. At least to an extent. Punic Carthage, thank you for the Prime sub. I appreciate that. From what you gather, Stoneshard is kind of like a more chill Diablo 1 or 2. You know, honestly, yeah, that's not too far off. Thematically like Battle Brothers, but the gameplay is like a chill version of an ARPG. I think that's pretty good, actually. You sort of get Diablo meets Stardew Valley vibes. That is the weirdest crossover description I think I've ever heard. But also, yes. I think that's a pretty good description. You know, one of those classic, you know, mashups. Diablo, Stardew Valley. I don't think you get too many chances to pick, you know, pick who you're going to romance in this game. But otherwise, spot on. I think we're just going to have to accept that we're thirsty for a little bit, which is bad. Let's see who the boss is here. Ooh. Might actually be able to avoid aggroing the boss and aggro his ads first. I think I did it. In Battle Brothers, you got this wonky thief. 2 stars in melee attack and 3 stars in melee defense and 1 in initiative. Sounds pretty good. Sounds like a Dodge Forge broski. Certainly might. Though I think for Dodge Forged, I would generally speaking just look at the difference between fatigue and initiative. And I don't know what's correct as far as like leveling initiative on a Dodge Forged. My inclination is generally speaking, I only level up initiative on a Dodge Forged if my secondaries only rolled a 2, both hit points and resolve. But I don't feel confident that that is necessarily the correct way of doing it. That's just what I have done. YouTube can't see Twitch chat for this intentional. Well, yeah, because the problem was when it was on the screen, it was over like the skill tree. And actually, I do have the where I can see both chats now. Eating raw leek should be disabled or give a stomachache debuff. I agree, Owner Delec. I can see YouTube chat now. Sorry, it's one of those things that I have to. It's a goofy interface. I'll put it that way. Yeah, thieves have high in it and low fat, ideal for Dodge Forge. I agree, Bijante. They are usually a prime candidate for it. And yeah, I think what Rufin says is absolutely true. There's a tendency for players to overly focus on the talent stars without considering the base numbers that they're working with. The base numbers are very important. Very, 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 very important. Three-star MDF is kind of cracked regardless, though. I mean, that's true. That's true. I like to think of stars as a way to help guide how I can level the bro, but not decide their build. Even though those two are obviously very interlinked. How much is a star worth? So by the time you reach level 11, it will, on average, be worth 5 points of that stat. But there's a hidden downside there where sometimes on some builds, some brothers, some situations, you might be really happy to take just a couple high rolls in a stat, and you still want that stat. For example, hit points on a fatigue neutral. But the talent stars are kind of useless because, like, you'll take a, you'll take some +4s when you see them, depending on your base numbers. And, I'm being hand wavy here, but like, the talent stars are kind of worthless. And you'd rather, much, much, much rather, just have a higher base number to begin with. So I think it's better to think of them as +5 in the best case. His dodge bonus is +8. You mean, whoa. His dodge bonus is +18 even when fatigued out? Does he have like 120 initiative? Over his fatigue? What? It must be he has 18 more fatigue than his, or initiative than his fatigue, right? That sounds like too much. Yeah, I'm guessing he means surplus 18 initiative too. So that's not bad. That's not bad. It's a little... Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure where the threshold for wanting to make a dodge forged really is. 18 bonus fatigue, like 18 extra. Because that's what? 2.7 melee defense and range defense. And going faster, which is relevant. So turn order is still a component to it. And of course you can make that even high. It unlocks the hyena pelt attachment. It unlocks a cat potion to increase your defenses. I don't know, that's kind of on the cusp. I don't know that I would necessarily do dodge forged in that case, but it's close. I might. Something also to consider with stars, specifically for melee attack and melee defense, is that if you have at least 1 star, you no longer roll a 1. So for melee attack, if you're not willing to click a 1, the first star makes the stat 8 to 9 higher on average. Yes, at the expense of whatever stat you would have chosen instead. But yes, that's true. All right, so that's our... contract there. You can turn in contracts in 3 locations in this game. One of them gives you extra money, one of them gives you local reputation, and the other one gives you reputation at Bryn, which is like the capital of the region. So the one we just selected there was extra money. Mostly because I wanted those out of the inventory, and we were passing by it anyway. I'm okay with not getting extra Osbrook reputation for now. That's fine. All right, so we're gonna make our way back down to Osbrook. Does local rep matter in Osbrook? I mean, not really. It's kind of nice to be able to get the bread bowl stew recipe, which I think you can get once you're at the highest level of reputation. It's kind of a nice one. But no, I don't think it really matters. I mean, it matters a little bit just because it's nice to have good trade favorability all over the map. I think once what I remember from some of my other characters is once I cleared some of the like highest tier dungeons, I would bring so much loot back that I would make all of the vendors go broke just buying all the crap that I wanted to sell them. I'm like, here's a pouch full of rubies, and they're like, I have 2,000 gold. I can't help you with this. So I would sometimes like take the caravan from place to place just to sell stuff. And so having good trade favorability, I guess, kind of matters. But at that point, I was earning so much money that there wasn't really that much for me to spend money on because I already had like the highest tier gear that I wanted. So it kind of seemed like it didn't matter. What's the monolith in this game? Yeah, so there's... I don't know if there is the Manticore fight is probably the closest thing to the monolith. There's two like super fights. There's the troll, who seems difficult until you learn his patterns. And then there's the Manticore, which is asks more out of your character because he creates ads and stuff like that. It's also kind of a puzzle fight, but it's a good fight. It's a really fun fight. Can you use your magic to light a cooking fire? Even better, Broad Metal Luck 2. You can use your magic to take out like an enemy boar, and then the meat comes pre-cooked. So it's even better. All right, so we're gonna stay the night there. Clear out our inventory. Stoneshard, someone please tell me the run is preserved. So it turns out that Run 28 was the run to show us all of the information we needed to start run number 1 of the win streak of this insane challenge. So Run 28 was the run. It was just, we were defining it wrong all along. We just weren't reading it right. So anyway, on Monday, we will be starting the run. So, but actually, I need to call it slightly early this evening. I've got to wake up super early. So, for all of you who are here, if you've not seen the Battle Brawl or are not familiar with it, it is a community-submitted AI versus AI Battle Brothers teams tournament, and it is a ton of fun. Find the video on YouTube, and then that'll make it make sense. If you're interested in joining, I've got a link to the Discord. In the Discord, there is a Battle Brawl channel with a link to the sign-up sheet. You just fill out your roster of units, and you can submit a team. And I think you should. I'll be selecting teams up until like 1 p.m. Central US time tomorrow. So you've got like 20-ish hours, maybe less than that. 16 hours, something. You have some amount. I'm not going to do math on stream. That's a mistake. You've got like some amount of time. You've still got some time. So pin the announcement link on the Brawl channel. Oh, is it not pinned? Oh. If I didn't pin it, I screwed up. Let's pin it. Nope, I didn't pin it. Wonderful. Thank you, Squigs. I didn't realize that it wasn't pinned. So, I think that's where I'm going to call it for tonight. I'm going to send you guys over to friend of the channel, Brenly. Good dude. Plays a lot of Battle Brothers, but he's currently playing State of Decay 2, which I understand Some Weird Sins also enjoys. So, that's where I'm going to call it for the evening. I will not be back until the Battle Brawl. I've got things going out and about to do tomorrow and Friday. But Saturday, the Battle Brawl, which is so much fun. I hope you join me. So to all of you, wherever you are in the world,